Thunder Grunt.
Nature is lethal, but it doesn't hold a candle to man.
Now that you've seen how bad things can get and how quick they can get that way.
Well, they can get a whole lot worse.
So we're not gonna fight anymore.
We're gonna pull together and find a way to get out of here.
First, we're gonna seal off this pull.
In a small little ship in the center of Mars was a sack of souls with experiment scars. When the second of the monk said, "I'll take two," and he put them in a rocket and he ate a lot of glue. And he shot them straight to Earth when they turned into babies. They were named from that, and they rarely got rabies. And the monk made a movie of their whole entire lives. They were panoramic scenes and zooms of the thighs. One time Bob had sex with a ladle, and one time Matt lost a vet to a cradle, and another time Bob caught a dinosaur mom, and another time Matt bought a replica of Guam. And all this more is on a DVD set, only $20.99 with the purchase of a gem. But if you call right now and say, "Where's my whisk?" we'll include this bonus disc.
Hey, welcome to Bonus Disc. I'm one of your hosts, Bob Rose. With me is another host, Matt PA.
Hello.
And with us is returning guest of the show, Huey Hesson.
Oh,
Hey,
God,
guys.
My fly's been down this whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Oh. Huey is also on Thunder Grunt for. You have another show that you're eventually going to get back to.
Yeah, we were just talking about that yesterday.
You have a show with Matt.
About, we were planning more episodes. So here's what,
They Know.
I'm going to give you guys an update about
They Know is the title.
They Know is the title. And I'm going to give everybody an update now in our normal personas. That it's so we had this planned out thing where all these episodes had 3 topics per episode. And then like the last ones we had planned, none of them had anything for us to find. They were just bullshit.
Yeah, they don't exist.
Yeah. So we
So you just had to make stuff up.
we had
I listened to him.
no, not those.
Oh.
Like we had three more
that
after
you didn't
those
record. Okay.
that we started researching. We're like,
There's
none
not
of these exist.
real. Or
Yeah.
or just like so fringe that you can't actually read about them if you're not like in some weird forum.
Yeah,
Right,
like
that's
in like
behind-
32chan or something.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, if you're
Please
still
don't,
using
yeah.
IRC, you may be able to research these things. I don't fucking know how to
Yeah,
do
it's so that's what we have to.
So you have to go places where like people that do horrible things are probably.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, and we're not going to do that.
Yeah, not interested.
So
in
we
that.
we have to remake the next episodes, and that we just been haven't had time to sit down and do it. So
There's
sorry.
the
I found a new
explanation
list of
for all you
things.
fans.
Yeah, Matt found a new map. Matt found a new list of things.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get them out as soon as we can. So
Official Thunder Grunt update.
It's not gone.
sorry, it's not gone. We just we had a
I had to be fair. I have not
Look,
gotten
can
on
we
you
just
guys.
cut the bullshit? We were gonna storm
Area 51.
All our resources went into that, and we kind of haven't been able to do anything.
we're
because
not
of-
very liquid right now. But anyway,
Well,
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
so that's a good update. Thank you,
Yeah.
all the Thunder Grunt fans out there. I'm sure
Yeah.
we're worried
there's a few
that
of
you
them
might
who-
have died in Area 51.
Ah, no, we didn't die.
We
there.
moved on to 52.
I mean, obviously Matt didn't, but
yeah, he's been showing up.
It could have been a clone. You have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, that's
on
true.
bonus disc, sure,
Or a
it's a
lizard
different person.
just
Clonus
pretending to be
disc.
me.
Clone.
Could have been
God
anything.
Damn it! All right, so we were gonna watch a movie called Sing 'Em
Yeah,
that you wanted to watch.
yeah. I heard great things. I've never seen it.
I've seen clips. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a Bollywood ridiculous over the top.
it's a
action
Bollywood
movie.
cop movie.
Yes,
That's what
about like
a trilogy.
completely incorruptible cop
Yes.
who is like super strength.
Yes, right. And we didn't
We did not watch that.
because for some reason I brought up the fact that I watched the sequel to I want to say it right. It's ENTHIRAN or known as Robot in the States. But it's called like ENTHIRAN.
Is that what it's called?
The Indian name, the Bollywood name for it is ENTHIRAN.
Because I just realized I have no idea what this is called, and now
this movie is so for anyone.
What are you talking about?
Hold on.
It's got that opening, the fucking title sequence was 5 minutes long.
It was
Dang,
so
you don't
long.
remember what it was.
and then it started again.
Yeah. So, for anyone listening, I know you've seen clips of this movie. It's the first movie,
Yeah, oh,
ENTHIRAN.
definitely.
It's the really dad-looking Indian guy who's extremely famous over there, and it's like
He's got
looks like
big
he's in the-
sunglasses on.
he's got big sunglasses and he's wearing like a dark silver suit, and there's several copies of him fighting in really insane action scenes. He turns into a snake. There's a ball of him. He's got thousands of shotguns that he blows up a car with. That's
Yeah.
like from the first movie.
Yeah.
So you've seen. I know you probably, if you're into these kind of things, you probably have seen that stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
We watched the sequel to that.
I've never seen the first one.
Yeah, me neither.
I've seen the first one, but like in 2010, I don't remember it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it would have mattered if I did.
Yeah.
We watched the sequel, which is called 2.0. That's the actual title.
Okay.
It's not like Robot 2.0 or Ethereum 2.0. It's literally just 2.0. That's the name of this movie.
I hate the title of this.
It's awful. The title's terrible.
After now seeing it, the title's stupid.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Yeah.
And from what I read, it is also not. It doesn't matter that we haven't seen it because it is a lot like Evil Dead 2 or something like that, where it takes the characters, kind of like a Three Stooges continuity.
Yeah.
The characters are in it, but it does not care about the continuity from the first movie. So, but that doesn't. I realize what we're going to talk about.
I know. I don't understand how you can say that
because there's literally like the first movie is used in the plot of this movie.
Yeah, they mention it
many
times
on IMDb. It says that it's
they show a fucking clip.
I know
from the first movie.
Right, they do.
I know they do. I'm not disagreeing with you, but on Wikipedia,
I'm disagreeing with the internet.
I know on IMDb and Wikipedia it says it's not supposed to be like a continuity sequel. It's like a spiritual sequel. Which is insane to me because
whatever.
It's the same guy, the same robot,
the same. It
doesn't
come
matter.
on. It
There's
doesn't
a
matter.
literal
Yeah,
flashback.
I'm just
to the other
saying
movie.
that so like this is one of the times where we shouldn't have had to watch the first one to. Our confusion is not apparently based on not having seen or remembering the first
one.
movie.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So I mean, honestly, you do kind of get the gist of what must have happened.
Yeah, I
in
don't
the
think
first
you would
one,
need
so-
to have seen the first one to be just as confused
Yeah,
on what happened.
this
in
is
so
bonkers.
right. It's insane. I watched half of this by myself, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It's stunning. It is actually
it's actually
stunning.
no. It's shocking how I love it.
Yo, it was incredible.
It's really
It's
crazy.
incredible. Like
It's a kind of movie that I just have never seen before.
It's long.
Yeah.
It's
But
before we get into it, it's basically what I would say is like the Bollywood equivalent of like a Marvel or Michael Bay movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like over there, this is what that is.
Yeah.
This apparently was like the most expensive movie that Bollywood ever made.
I mean, clearly.
$76 million budget, which for them is insane.
I mean, if you
could
look,
have shaved maybe $6 million off and had a reasonable opening sequence.
title
and shaved a couple million easy.
man,
I don't even know what that opening was.
Well, let's start because
All right.
that's what.
okay.
The opening is essentially a CGI. It's like it's like a log flume of CGI gears.
But like,
Kind of,
it's
yeah.
more like
what
flying through an Iron Man suit, but there's no suit. You don't fly into anything.
You have no
just
clue
And
where
everything
you
looks
are.
exactly like the last thing you just floated through.
It's just
Right.
like tubes lined with light layered on top of each other
And gears. There's
and
like gears
and
and-
silver walls and just it's just like
And it goes on
things that
forever.
look like, I don't know,
diodes and shit.
Yeah.
And it goes on. There's no.
The amount of us just going like, what is this?
Yeah,
Did
like,
it start
I
yet?
said, I was like, I don't even know how you would direct this. Like, what do
Right.
you say you want for this?
Right.
Just give me sci-fi tubes. It's like it's so weird.
It's so weird. And another odd choice, which I'm sure there's an explanation for, but some of the credits are in like English,
yeah.
and some are in another language.
Yeah.
Which I don't know which language it
I
is.
don't know either.
But I don't know why
ignorant.
they weren't all in the same language.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
So,
odd. Well, I mean,
yeah.
like even the movie itself would be like we were watching it with subtitles, but there would be lines that were the exact line of the subtitle. Like they'd
Right,
say,
right, yeah.
they'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they'd be like, this is not that kind of science, and then they go right back into the other language. But
Yeah.
like there has to be a way to say this is not that kind of science in that language.
Right.
They would go back and forth at random.
But it's Bollywood. They it's like you say in English. I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm not really I love Bollywood movies, but I'm not well versed in
Yeah,
them.
I
so
don't.
Yeah.
I
There
think
might be an explanation for that I don't know about.
I've seen a lot of the
so.
clips from Bollywood movies, but I've never actually. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched one until
I've
now.
watched a few of them. They're
And-
awesome.
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the stuff they would say would be stuff that could be cut into a trailer to be international.
That's possible.
Yeah, it's
that's
You know what I
entirely.
mean?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
always it's always somebody saying like, "This is not how it's gonna go down," or you know, like it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
never
yeah.
like a weird, just like, "Oh, I love you" a bunch. It was always like something somebody shouted,
Yeah.
or like that was supposed to sound profound but just seem weird, kind of shit.
And this,
If I had to compare this to anything that I think, if you're to say to somebody who's interested in watching it, it'd be like it's like a less auteurish Stephen Chow movie.
yeah,
Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
think of like
yeah.
Kung
Oh,
Fu
yeah, yeah.
Soccer or something like that.
it's
It's
just
like it's like
It's
this has
almost
less of a
that
voice.
It's almost that silly, but it never.
achieves greatness
Yeah.
on that level. It's still
At
great.
all.
I
but-
feel like I'm not even entirely sure how much of it's intended to be silly. I
Some
feel like
of it
most-
obviously.
well, I mean,
is.
I feel
It
like
is.
it's meant to be
It
like
is.
that cool kind of silly.
Yeah, yeah.
Not like I'm being silly, but it
Yeah,
ends up
yeah,
being
yeah.
that way. It's hard to.
well, yeah.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
Well, when you have a like 40-year-old man running away from stuff on CG
and like
cameras,
he just
I
lightly
feel
jogs.
like I should say his name because he's the famous dude, right?
Superstar.
superstar.
That
I
was in
forget
the
it.
credits. Like it actually in the opening credits.
Oh yeah, so
It-
we've been watching this Blue Gear Abyss nightmare flog ride,
and then
or
it
flume ride.
it flies through the word superstar, but like one letter at a
Which
time.
is
Like that's like what he's known as.
yeah,
right?
superstar or something.
And I don't. This is the only time I'm doing this in the episode because I don't want to turn this into a farce of us
got it.
Gotcha.
saying Indian names
incorrectly,
wrong
yeah.
or
I
anything.
understand.
But it's Rajinikanth.
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 Okay.
Rajinikanth.
Okay.
Superstar Rajinikanth.
He plays Dr. Vasigaran.
Yes,
The
and
Seagull.
also
And he also
all the
plays-
robots,
and also Chidi,
Chidi.
the
Chidi
robot.
and whatever the other one was.
Whatever
we'll
the
get
other
to
one's
that
called.
though.
We'll get there.
Right. So
So
he's I mean,
he is a big star.
this
over
is
there.
a podcast. But
You described him as the Vin Diesel
yeah,
of Bollywood.
I did.
And then
This
I'm
picture-
looking at him.
Look at this picture on IMDb. I
Okay.
know that anyone
God
listening
damn
can't,
it.
but it's not.
The Vin Diesel.
He's
of
just some old
Bollywood.
dude.
Yeah, he's just some old guy.
He
But you
looks
know
like,
what?
He
I'm
looks
happy
like your
that there's a
uncle,
country
man.
that would be like.
Yeah, I'm down with that, but I mean,
It's
God.
just crazy. I don't know. It makes me feel weird. I don't know.
Like he's not looking good on his IMDb
he
profile
is
here.
not.
He
but
does not look good.
That's the. It
This
doesn't
is
matter to
sort of
him.
like-
He's killing it.
The
No.
weird thing about Bollywood is like, I think the reason you get these crazy ass things is because you get like, people just want to see something, and I don't think they care what it looks like. Do you
They're also not
understand?
spoiled like us, so like
I guess.
we see it. We have so much media made in America and our own like thing. Like they don't get as much. So
Yeah, so they're like, oh wow.
I mean, we're
this
also
looks
talking out of our
awesome.
asses a little bit
Yeah,
here.
we don't really
Oh,
know.
well,
really
that's
know.
true. But I mean,
I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just weird.
Before
I
we
just
get
feel
into it,
like,
remember
I just
Dragon
feel like
Wars?
As long as you had enough
Yes.
money.
Do you remember Dragon Wars?
I did see
Remember
that.
how bad
Yes,
Dragon
yes,
Wars
yes,
was?
yes.
That won all their Oscars the year it
Yes,
came out,
I know.
and it's an awful movie.
It's,
Dragon Wars is like objectively terrible.
Do you think
and
that-
makes no sense?
I mean,
Do you understand?
but it's different. It's a different set of standards. You know.
Okay. It's almost like if like canon films
Yes.
were
Yes.
major things like here. It's like that equivalent. Like
Yes.
if they're
Yes.
the way they're made, like they get enough money now that they have CGI that it looks fine, because some of this stuff looked awesome. And I'm not gonna say it didn't look
yeah.
I
amazing.
wonder what.
We don't need to talk about the effects
but it's
going
still
into it.
like
yes.
it's still like Wings Hauser beating up ninjas. You know what I mean? It's still
Yes.
that.
It's just as
it's as stupid looking. So
Yes.
everything is like really stupid looking.
I wonder why. Like, I wonder if it's a cultural thing because I also recently watched Wandering Earth. It's a Chinese movie that won a shitload of awards. It was huge over there. It's like a massive blockbuster. And then I watched this, and like they have like no interest in any kind of story development. I mean, character development. The story is seemingly only there to just like facilitate action and explosions.
I mean, there's a lot of American movies
there
that
are,
are like
but,
that.
like,
I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. That just I feel like way less. Like they think of these movies as like their Avengers, but Avengers I feel like a competent film still. I don't understand where the
mean,
the difference
No,
in
it feels like watching the
I
animated.
think they're more interested in the
just in the
this is
spectacle.
This movie to me felt like it was actually about the spectacle,
Yeah, honestly,
and they know it.
Yeah,
and it's
because
fine.
the amount of
Yeah.
time they linger on the
It's like
the
all
fine.
the
It's like-
ridiculous
yeah.
spectacle.
Like
So-
the audience is actually like here to see whatever the thing you're looking at is. It's not.
like a real cartoon,
Right.
With where everyone is
Side
every
note-
single one of Nicolas Cage's characters.
We should move on. But side
Okay.
note, on IMDb, I looked at the user reviews, and all of them are negative for
Yeah.
this one. And it seems like it's a bunch of American people that love the first movie and hate this movie. And they all say the story is bad, which is interesting to what you're saying, Huey. Because I was like, all the American critics, reviewers are like, the story here sucks. And I'm thinking, like, is that what you were paying
Well, yeah,
attention
why,
to?
why is yeah? I
That's
don't-
not why I love this movie.
No, it's
I
not.
mean, the
yeah.
story's insane.
It's a completely nuts.
But
It's
I'm fine
we
with
haven't
it.
even
Like, I
started on
understand.
the movie yet.
I know.
It's like,
Yeah.
Well, we just talked for as
Yeah.
long as the opening credits are.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how.
Okay.
That's what it was like.
The opening credits, because the opening credits they
They end with
they end with a bunch of birds over top of a marsh, and then there's a tower. There's like a
cell
cell
phone
tower,
tower.
Yeah.
a cell phone tower, and you see an old man in silhouette.
But it looks
With
like
birds.
it's animated.
It
kind
does,
of.
but it's
at
not.
first, it looked animated. It was weird.
It's an
But
old
the
man in
birds are
silhouette.
animated because they're like swirling.
Yeah,
in a
they're
circle
CGI
above his
birds
head.
because you can't train birds.
Yeah, I know,
So, yeah.
But it's like they were swarming.
Right.
It looked weird. It was cool.
And then he climbs up the middle, like to the middle of the tower, and hangs himself.
Yeah,
he
just
mutters something about how awesome birds
he's
are.
like your
and how
wings point to
they-
heaven,
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he like reads his poem about birds,
and then he dies.
and then he hangs
He
himself.
hangs himself.
There's a really
Right.
wacky CGI glasses falling down through the screen, and then
Oh, yeah.
the credits start again.
Then it goes back to the credits.
And then it says 2.0 finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because it goes credits, that, and then credits, and then
2.0.
right, and then we go to the college kids walking to
Yes.
the insane building.
Who I thought were going to be characters.
No.
No, they're not.
No.
At all.
They're not. They're walking towards the building that is a science lab that actually has Superstar in silhouette as Chidi, halfway like built into a statue form.
Yeah.
On the
Into
front
the
lawn.
side
Like,
of-
in the side of the building. It's,
It's
like, yeah.
nuts looking.
So Chidi and the scientists just because it's. I mean, this is why them saying you.
it's
don't-
not
you
the
don't
first
need-
movie. Yeah, I
you-
know.
Fuck you. Okay, so Chidi looks exactly like the doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Well, he's like Frankenstein's monster.
Yes.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
created him in his image, type of thing.
Mhm.
Not that Frankenstein. Never
But
mind. But
Just think about. Forget it. Why do we have he has a building with this thing on the front of it that the government had to sanction?
like the government said that
You're not allowed
robot-
to have that robot.
The government obviously, we'll find out later, and we should know from the first movie, they had to like make a fucking law that Chidi can never be re-woke.
Because
Yeah,
he,
cannot
He
be
killed so
reactivated.
many people.
yeah, he went ridiculously
but this
insane.
guy has him as like his like visage on the front.
His
It's
building
like
looks
25
like
feet
it.
tall.
Evidently, in the original, he was fine. Somebody fucked with his programming, and then he went evil. So the doctor's
yeah.
like, he was fine, he was good.
Yeah.
Somebody messed with him. That's why he
Right.
broke down.
We're not there
He's
yet.
fine.
We're not there
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
So we're walking with a bunch of college kids or interns or whatever.
Something.
They're
Yeah.
They
walking
get to
up
the
the
door.
building.
Door opens. It's a beautiful,
Yeah,
perfect woman,
Yeah.
and she's like, and she says, "Do you want to see that? You want to meet with the Doctor Varazian,
Fresriga.
Yeah, whatever.
Doctor
Frazee.
V,
The doctor.
the
Yeah.
doctor." And as they're walking down the hall, the kid is like asking her, telling her how beautiful she is,
Yeah, hitting on
asking
her.
her for her phone number, and
Yeah.
she gives him a number,
Yeah.
It was like 14411
KML something. Yeah, right. And so they get in there, and then they sit down, and then we meet Superstar. He walks in, and what do they say? Like, hey, can we see you? You made apparently a new robot. Can
Yeah.
we see them? And he goes, sure. And then he pushes a button on the beautiful woman, and her whole front half turns into like a robot.
Yeah, with
And
like
then-
see-through face with the chattery
Right.
teeth.
And she's
the-
like,
her
"Nyeh."
eyeballs. I mean, the
Yeah.
movie knows it's silly for stuff like this.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
her eyeballs started wobbling, and
Wobbling
her teeth were
around,
like
right.
chittering. And the guy who was hitting on her before was all like, ugh, gross.
And he was like, but you gave me your number. And she was like, my model number.
My IMEI
I-
number.
yeah.
International Mobile Equipment Identity. I looked it up.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fine. So then what happens? They in the scene.
Then it's the cell phones
they
thing.
show the road. Yeah,
Yeah, because the kid's riding home on his bike and he's got the phone to his head.
Is it right to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it
because
is.
he gives some kind of speech about
robotics.
robotics and the
and
future
as
of them
Isaac
things.
Asimov has mentioned, the speaking is so fast. It's
Oh, yeah.
hard.
Oh my God,
This
they're
show,
talking
this
super
movie
fast.
waffles back and forth. I mean, firing stuff at you so fast you can't keep up, and showing you the same thing 30 times in like minor differences.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing. So the guy who was hitting on the robot
Yeah.
is going home on his bike, and he's talking on the phone,
Yeah,
right?
to someone. Yeah,
To somebody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then the phone, like, all of a sudden leaps out of his hand, and then it's floating in front of him, and it says unknown caller.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
it's floating
Well, his
in midair.
bike like
Midair.
crashes.
Like it's floating, flying.
yeah, like he was going on the bike and it stopped, but he kept going. But somehow, that
Like, up
knocked
until
him
this
off his
moment-
bike.
Yeah,
Up
I don't
until this
understand how
moment,
that
I would
knocked him
have
off the
never
bike.
guessed in my life what this movie was
Yeah,
about.
Oh,
no.
fuck no!
Like
There's no
up
way.
until that moment, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a robot that like he builds a new one, and then
Yeah.
like, that's gonna become a problem, and they gotta rake the old one to stop the new one. I had no idea what this was gonna be.
It's awesome. I love this.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it's amazing. The
right.
goddamn.
So this guy gets off his bike and he's like staring the phone down, and it starts like kind of goading him on, like go like near
jumping
it,
into his
jumping.
face, yeah.
And then a little tiny like sparrow shows up on the screen, and then it
It
bolts up into
Well,
the.
it starts flying like
Oh,
a bird. Like the phone.
it does the
turns
360 around
sideways
his head.
and like floats around his head.
It does a
and then-
Michael Bay shot around his head.
Yeah.
and then it
Yeah.
flies
it just
off
zips off into the air,
Right.
and
And
then
he's
we
like,
get
huh.
that exact same
for like 4
scene.
minutes. Jesus
It's-
Christ.
over and over,
Yeah.
where everybody's losing their phone. The phone just flies out of their hands.
People in their houses, people in their cars,
People on the
people
train.
at parks.
Some of
Yeah.
them were kind of funny, like the
Yeah.
midway conversation of when it rips out.
Oh,
of
yeah.
them.
The guy,
One
there's a
was kinda funny.
funeral, and a
Oh
dude
my
is taking a
fucking
selfie
God.
I
with his
forgot that.
grandfather's
This is
dead
a cultural
body.
thing for sure. Is like
It
how
has to
comfortable
be.
they are with like dead bodies as like a
Yes.
culture because of this scene and the scene we're gonna have to talk about later. Fucking crazy shit. I don't know. It's just nuts. I like how normal is that within the first like 10 minutes of a major movie, you're watching a guy take a selfie with a corpse.
And he
Unless it's
turns
like a
his
stunt
head to look
comedy.
at the
Yeah, like
camera.
he's touching the corpse to make the
In a-
pose
you would
in a
never-
room full of people that aren't doing shit about it.
Well, you know what though? I mean, I could say you would never find that in an American 4-quadrant movie, like an American big budget.
Yeah.
But then I think about some stuff Michael Bay's done. It's really tasteless. So I don't really know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, like when they're in the morgue in
the
Bad, Boys 2.
It's
Yeah,
tasteless
yeah.
as shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so tasteless. So, but that could be a cultural thing.
I
But
don't
he's
know,
taking
the
a
other
selfie
scene
with his
is-
grandfather, which I assume the commentary there is this guy is a
Piece of
selfish
shit.
piece of shit.
Because like
Yeah.
when the phone zips out of his hand, he goes, "Grandpa?"
Because they think, yeah, because he
Yeah.
thinks it's
he
the
thinks
ghost.
the ghost is fucking.
So yeah, we basically just see a bunch of nameless, non-character citizens lose their phones, and they fly up into the sky.
until eventually it's like the whole city, and you see in a fuckload of phones
Right.
floating up into the air.
They just zip off into the air.
Just smash it through windows. It shows that store.
Oh
like
yeah,
a
there's
whole
like a cell phone
store.
store. Everything flies out of the store.
Yeah,
And then we go back to the
smashes out all
lab, right?
windows.
'Cause the-
And he's talking to his girlfriend.
Right,
his
'cause she-
girlfriend calls. I love that the
And she-
robot goes, "Danger, girlfriend
danger
calling."
girlfriend calling, and then the girlfriend's like, "Oh, you're talking to what's her name? Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Vanilla again.
Yeah.
It's spelled differently.
It's
though.
VE.
Yeah, you're talking to Vanilla again, aren't you? And he's
It
like,
means
she's basically.
moon.
He's like, she's just a computer. Don't worry about her.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do anything.
And then he's like, "I'm gonna give you a kiss right now." And right when he goes to kiss the phone, it fires out of his hand and up through the.
up through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he
it
goes,
goes
through the roof.
roof.
Yeah.
So then,
Because we get that awesome shot, that like suck out shot of him, be like, "Oh,
looking through the
something's up."
hole,
eyebrow raise.
and then
I almost wanted him to scream like, "Ah!"
then they go to like the that committee meeting, that giant like council meeting.
It's so fast.
Yeah.
It
I
cuts
mean-
right to the government already. Like, there's no like. I love this. There's no like shot of like establishing shot. There's nobody walking down a hallway. It's just like, here's the boardroom. They're already talking about it. After that, it was like a cut to. I was like, fuck it.
It's
fast,
insane.
man.
Was it that fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's
Because
no. There's
after
no.
this is when when you see that long line of
Okay.
people.
Okay. That's what I was about
Yeah.
to ask. It happens after this guy.
Yeah. So it's the government. And they're basically discussing what's happening.
What's going on?
Right.
And they immediately.
and the doctors. It cuts from him looking up through that hole to him being at the government meeting
with
Okay.
Vanilla. Vanilla sits next
with
to
Vanilla.
him.
Right. Yeah.
And there's another scientist who looks super suave.
mm-hmm.
A
And
younger,
then,
yeah.
and then there's the
Apparently, he is the villain in the first movie who corrupted Chidi.
That makes sense.
But
Huh.
in this movie, they don't acknowledge his villainy because
Okay.
he was like arrested or something in the first one.
oh well
So that's like the non continuity part of this.
that's really
whatever.
stupid.
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't
The-
matter.
really stupid.
so
It doesn't matter.
basically They're talking about what could have caused this, and they immediately rule out aliens.
Oh my god, I love that. They're like, the guy goes, "What could this be, an outer space thing?" And the doctor's like, No, I've checked all the records. Like, NASA would have had records of.
Oh.
And it's like, what? What
Yeah.
future is this? Like, are there aliens?
This is in the
then?
okay. This is the future, though. Let's make that clear.
Yeah, but I mean,
it is the future.
No,
well,
he
no, it can't be. They
references-
all have they all have regular phones.
Yeah.
But it's like it's
And he
near
also
future.
referenced,
Okay.
he calls something the 2017 or 2018 model or something.
Yeah,
He says the date. It's present time.
but it's like
But an alternate reality.
it's an alternate reality where the present is more advanced.
Advanced.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because I
Cell
mean,
phones still look the same, but they probably are better.
he's
at
got that
some
like
point.
Probably do
hyper
more
robot.
stuff.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything's so. Yeah, they're talking
See,
about
that's
what it
what
could
I
be.
don't understand. He made a robot. It killed a bunch of people. They had to make a law against this robot. He was allowed
And
to make another fucking robot?
And that's why she's not as strong. Like Vanilla is not
Yeah,
as
Vanilla is not the
Oh,
counter
okay.
product to Chidi at all.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
she is just
Chidi can like
But she
run up
still-
walls. She can like jump like maybe 8 feet in the air. That's like her maximum
Still
skill.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she can do stuff. She's just not as good as
Not
him.
as super strong.
Also, it's like what I was gonna say. What you said, like he was responsible for that, and while it apparently wasn't proven to be his fault,
yeah, somehow.
why is he like being welcomed at the government's like
Yeah, I mean,
council meeting over the cell phone disappearances?
Yeah.
You're like, do we want this guy around? Like I don't know.
Well, he starts saying that we should. He's like, we gotta. Does he?
that's the next time they meet.
Okay.
That's the next one. Don't skip ahead.
Okay.
Because they don't have a solution yet.
They don't, and they don't even know where the phones went.
They don't know. Yeah,
He shows them that hologram.
He pulls out this
Oh
box,
my god.
puts it on the table, and puts it. It's like a giant orb hologram, and it like
He's like, they
okay,
all went
well,
to
it's
this
the future
level.
enough for that thing not to be weird.
Yeah.
They're all just like, well,
Oh,
yep,
okay. Show me on the orb.
on the Star Wars hologram. Like, okay, so it does take place in a different world.
I mean, I always think about it like, I mean, it's like the Marvel Universe. Like Tony Stark has all this
Tony
incredible
Stark
shit,
has that
but it
stuff.
takes place now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
Right.
that's what's going on. It's
Okay.
just he's
it's
like
not
a Tony
available
Stark.
to consumers. Like,
Yeah.
it's only for
It's just his
geniuses.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
this is very like Avengers-y.
He's basically
Like,
Tony
think
Stark if
He
you
is.
really think about
Parts
it.
of it,
He
yeah.
just-
This
instead
was
of
not
making a-
that different than Age of Ultron.
Instead
really.
of making a suit of armor, he made a robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no.
It's basically Ultron.
Well, the
if
first
he
one
was a
is
bird.
Age of
Did
Ultron.
they steal any
Yeah, I
single
guess.
scenes from?
Nothing
Was it
really.
Straight up.
No.
I don't know. All right.
Well, then
Because in those Krishna movies, they literally
They
just
just steal-
lift,
well, yeah.
steal.
Well, they have an
scenes.
agenda. They
Okay.
don't care about actual like making a movie. Whereas this, I still feel like it's a movie.
wanted to make a
There's not an
movie,
agenda
yeah.
here,
Okay.
except for saying cell phones are bad.
Yes. Oh, there's
Don't-
yeah. I was gonna say there's
yeah.
absolutely.
It's not an agenda as much as a message.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they go.
Okay.
Then him and Vanilla go looking for, the phones. They're like, I chased.
Yes.
I
Oh
traced
yeah,
the
it
phones.
shows him make the. Yes, that's when you were
Yeah,
like, he's like Buckaroo Banzai. He just has a thing that does.
Yeah,
the
he like
stuff.
pulls out this thing like
God,
a
it looks
yellow deedle bopper on
ridiculous.
the end, and he's just like following it.
It looks like a giant popsicle.
Yeah,
It's an orange popsicle.
and then he goes out and like he's just
to
in
the
a
field,
where like
to the suicide field.
was that where he was?
That's the suicide field.
Okay.
No,
he's-
no, it wasn't. It was a
That's
lake.
not?
It was a lake. He
Yeah,
comes.
because he's right next to the
Okay,
lake,
okay.
and
He
then
sits
the cows
next-
come
he sits
flying
down
past.
on a well. Yeah, he sits on
yeah.
a well that's right by like a lake or whatever. Yeah, the cows flip out, and he's like, "What?" And he pulls out the thing, and he follows it to the edge of the water and starts going apeshit. And I don't understand. Vanilla shows up, and she like points up in the sky, and then it's like locusts. It's like all the cell phones in the whole city are like this swarm of locusts. Over,
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
over the water.
And they kind of dive bomb them. They jump down, and then it flies into the air and flies over to a cell phone tower. And
it doesn't turn into a bird. It turns into just a talon.
yeah, like
of
a
bird.
giant like
Wait, we
eagle
skipped
talon.
the first guy dying. I think.
Did we? Did he
Oh,
die
we
first?
did. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
I think that's why they have the meeting so fast.
That's right. The phones are all gone.
Yeah, the phones have killed
Okay.
someone before.
All right. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, sorry.
God,
So-
it's
I just
hard to keep
realized
it
I
in
was
your
like,
head.
why? There's no reason to
So,
hunt them down yet.
During the
Thing.
montage of the before that, we meet 3 different people. Right?
Yeah.
Did that happen? God damn it!
It's
Well,
hard.
I-
yeah.
we definitely meet the store owner.
He owns a cell phone store. That's
Yes.
it. That's what he's guilty of, is owning a store that sells cell phones.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's driving home, right? And that's when the tidal wave, or not the tidal wave, the
No, I
like
think
the-
you're
like
right.
the
I think that
ooze.
happens after the first thing. I think I think it happens after the
Yeah,
first
I think it
Yeah,
might.
I think it might. Yeah, because
they talk about, they're like, I
Yeah,
don't know,
ju-
we don't know where they went.
they're just
and
looking
then-
for the phones at this point.
But then this happens.
Well, hold
'cause
on.
he
Okay,
goes-
then let's go back to the field because the Talon comes out of
And
the cell phone thing, and it starts to try to break the tower to kill
the cell
doctor.
signal. Oh yeah,
And the
it
cell
tries
signal.
to throw it onto the doctor.
onto the doctor. And
Yeah,
he
it
trips.
rips, it throws.
She saves
yeah.
him. She
Vanilla
does
saves him.
She does a robot save.
She like tumble dives and
Right, and then he instantly knows what's going on.
yeah, he's like,
he
oh, shit.
gets it.
He's like, whoa.
Yeah, he understands what's happening. For
And
some
then
reason.
we get
in the first meeting, he explains how there's the four known forces.
Yeah, and he thinks-
does, and he's like, I think this is a new
fifth
force, some sort
Yeah.
of new force.
right.
And the other guy's like, you're a dumbass, and you
Right.
made a robot that killed my dad. Fuck
the
you.
suave scientist. Yeah,
Oh, well,
God,
he
we
didn't
forgot
say
about that. He
yet,
said,
but-
"You made a robot that killed my dad," and it shows a clip from the first movie
Of him-
Chidi,
just smushing him.
Ricky O smashing his head, straight up, just boom.
blood
Yeah,
hits the
it-
fucking screen.
This
yeah.
guy has a reason to hate this dude, totally.
Yeah, it's legit.
So then we follow the guy who owns the cell phone store. He's talking. He's like, I need you to call me when the new shipment of cell phones gets in.
Right.
Then we see the phones getting delivered, and they blast out of the back of
Yeah,
the.
they burst. They start banging.
They start
dents
banging
into the-
punching dents into the hole in the side.
into like the tractor trailer truck, and then they fly out the back,
and they're loose.
and then
now.
they start like you see the guy driving down this dark road, and then like
the camera kind of pans behind him, and the giant
No,
bright.
the first guy's the guy in his house.
no, like it's still it's crawling up. Remember, you see it crawling up the
yeah,
street
you see it
behind
calling
him.
the street first.
No.
No, you're thinking.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
you're
right,
thinking
right.
when
It's
it
like-
hits the
okay,
street,
okay.
yeah.
not the tidal wave.
Got you,
it's
got you.
It's like the blob of
Yes.
cell phones that are following his car, and he can't quite see him, even though it's insane
It's
that he
like
could.
They're
hyper
so
bright.
bright.
They're
It's
basically just
hyper
cell
bright.
phones with white screens.
Yes.
That's what you see.
and they're flowing blob behind his car about 12 feet.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
far.
he's not seeing this unbelievably
bright
bright
thing. He pulls into his house. He gets in bed. And he says his prayer,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he hears a vibration, and then he hears a voice that says the shipment's in.
He's
right?
like, hey, it's
Yeah.
whatever.
And he's really
Malar-
scared because he's like, who's talking? There's a thing there. They can replicate.
People's voices.
voices.
It's
Yeah.
really weird.
I remember when I watched this the first time too. This is when I was like, is this a horror movie?
It's,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
'cause
This
it's
is
super
a horror
fucked up
scene.
right now.
This is a horror scene.
Yeah.
The tonal shift of this versus what happened in that field with the Talons. I was
Yeah.
like, I thought it was an action movie, and this thing is like, fuck, okay. Because then all of a sudden, the whole room goes bright white.
And,
And
it's
it's made
littered
of
with
cell phones. It's
The cell phones are covering every surface with white screens.
Yeah.
And then it starts to change. He gets up, starts freaking out, and
he goes over to the wall and tries to
he tries to push him
push
out of the
tries
way.
to push him out of the way.
But it's
close
like
in.
it's like 8 layers deep of phones.
of cell phones.
and that's when they all turns into birds.
The bird, the sparrow.
Yeah, that all and then
They start swirling around his bed.
Dude, him running around this room.
It's
is
so-
It's like
fucking
whoop,
funny.
whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
he's on a
very
green
Three
screen running in
Stooges.
place, and they're moving him forward.
Digitally,
awesome.
it's
great.
so fucking crazy.
I love
looking.
It makes a terrifying scene really weird.
Really weird.
It's super weird. Because he gets back on his bed, and they're all circling him, and then you just see one just
One
fly.
I love it. The movie does all these really weird shots that are so kind of just unnecessary, but I
Yeah.
think this is the best one. It's from inside his mouth,
Right.
and you see the phone go past his teeth.
All it's more than one. This is like when
Oh well, the first one you see
Yeah.
is from that shot,
Yeah.
and then they
is
all just
in
start
his
funneling
mouth.
into his mouth.
Until he is
And then
like a
you
giant.
see them
fleshy
under his skin,
bag.
like pushing out with the light under the phone,
Right.
and he's like, "Arr!" and then he just
I
explodes.
gotta admit, I
He
never
blows the
thought
fuck
in my
up.
life I would see that in a movie.
yeah,
A man getting killed by sentient floating cell phones.
that fill him up until he can't
It's like
hold them anymore.
it's like explodes. He explodes. We don't
I
see
like that
it.
some of the phones broke in that explosion.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Like
we
it
can't,
shows, it's like
can't see
blood
it.
and broken cell
it's like
phones.
viscera,
flying off.
just like blasted out. Yeah, and then the cops are there, and they bring the
is
scientists.
that cut right next?
Well, yeah, because it
It cuts to the morning.
yeah, and the
and
cops
then
are there.
and the professor's there with the cops, and they're explaining what happened.
And
They
yeah, the
think
cops
what
there's
happened.
no evidence of any human person being here except
And-
for him.
And then the vanilla scans a corner, and she's like, "There's a bunch of shit from tons of
There's-
different phones."
And
here.
Dust from,
there's
like,
fucking
hundreds
blood
of
all
different
over
cell
the
phones.
walls.
Oh, it's
too.
like it blew that guy to
it
hell.
blew him up. Yes.
But she analyzed the cell phone dust and was
It's
like,
cell phones.
This is from cell phones. And like, well, and he goes, what would you say if I said cell phones killed this man? And then he does the eyebrow raise dot thing.
Yeah. Oh, he just like
I guess that's from the first movie.
It's
he
got to
like,
be some
will
his
reach out
catchphrase
into midair
maybe.
and just poke the air and
Dot.
go dot.
When he says something that's like, that's the final word,
Yeah.
kind of like, and we're gonna do it in that order. Dot.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm kind of.
It's something. Maybe it's something that he does as a famous actor.
It might be like
or
a
as this
thing.
character.
Or
I
as-
don't
yeah,
know.
It's something. Yeah.
Yeah, but it recurs like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Like
so.
saying motherfucker is Samuel Jackson.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's possible.
Then what happens? Because now they know that.
Then they have the second meeting because now the tower is getting destroyed, and this is when they decide to use force.
No.
Something has to
Towers
happen in
haven't
between.
destroyed it.
The
When
second
they
guy
find
needs to
out that
get
that
killed.
guy was killed by cell phones, they have a second meeting.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. After he's
Yeah,
been
yeah,
killed
yeah.
by
But the towers hasn't
Well,
hasn't started yet.
no, that's like this is where they
Afterwards.
decide they're gonna start.
No.
So
Yeah.
what's next? What are you saying is next?
Oh wait, you're right. All
Yeah,
right,
in this
fine.
meeting is
Okay,
where
fine.
he pitches Cheaty, and they're like,
It's a failed pitch.
yeah,
Yes.
This is a failed pitch meeting.
because the other guy's like, Cheaty fucking murdered a ton of people, you maniac.
Because
We're not
this is
gonna-"
where they directly address the first movie.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
we can't wake Cheaty up. He's like, but look, if you use the military, a bunch of fucking people are going to die because of the swarm of evil cell phones. And he's like, the only person that can do this is the evil robot I created.
Yeah, and Cheaty can do it, and he is he won't break again because I've put fail safes in place.
See, I think that's why the field thing happens after that guy gets murdered, because then they're actually looking for them for a reason, as opposed to be like, oh, the cell phones disappeared. We don't.
Either
know where
way,
they
we-
I mean,
are.
either
already
way, they
talked-
both
Well, I know.
We already talked about
I
both
know.
of
I
them,
know.
so-
I'm just correcting the order. That's
yeah,
all.
it's fine.
Well, then, like they say, no, we're not going to do that. He's too dangerous. We'd have to. He's like, we'd have to pass a bunch of things. We'd have to get Parliament on board.
Right.
We'd have to get 2-party support. It's never going to happen. What do we got? And then the guys are like,
They basically decide to go with the military.
yes, they're like, we're going to put a military presence. We're going to rebuild the cell phone towers.
Right,
Everything.
but like the evil guy, the evil scientist is really happy about it.
Yeah, he's like,
He's
haha.
like, yeah, the robot that killed my dad is not going to be re-released.
Yeah.
Right.
He calls it. He said he was like trying to like capitalize on an emergency just to get his like own bullshit back.
Yeah.
kind
Right,
of thing.
right.
He was just like, he's being selfish.
But after this is when
Oh my god.
the doctor and Vanilla break into the museum, right?
Yeah, because
like, right
no,
after
he's like,
this,
no, fuck that.
He's like,
I'm
this.
dead.
I know it's gonna come of all this.
Yeah. That's
So they break into the Museum of Artificial Intelligence.
yeah.
Which is great.
It's not right after that. I think the scene of the cell phone tower guy yelling at the congressman or whatever, the politician.
Oh, is that?
happens,
Yeah, you're right.
I think. Right
Wait,
before
So
what?
the guy that's
because they have to introduce that guy, the
guy before he gets
guy
killed.
The guy being like, I need to have cell phone towers back up because
Oh, yeah.
people are leaving my
there's
network
3
and I
cell
paid you a
phone
lot of
intimate
money.
cell phone murders in
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them.
But he basically explains how extortion works.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Or like campaign funded
Because
fraud.
the guy that killed he already killed the cell phones killed the guy that owned the store. Now they got to kill the guy that wants the towers.
Yes.
He's
and
the
then,
towers
And then the
guy.
guy who is in charge of the towers. Okay. Now,
right.
I
Yeah.
remember. Okay.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
succession.
Yeah.
He's
So
working his way up the ladder.
he basically threatens the government guy that
He's like, if you don't get my cell phone towers up within a week,
You're
you're
going
done.
on
You're
WikiLeaks.
gone.
You're done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna WikiLeak you. He's like, I will
Also-
straight up WikiLeak
So,
you.
small scene we forgot at the beginning was at the police station. We learned that the guy that's in charge of the guy that's in charge, the guy who's getting yelled at right now, his cell phone is missing, and the only reason it's a big deal is because it's worth $20 million.
Yeah,
it's
covered
covered.
in,
It's covered
like,
in
diamonds
diamonds.
and rubies and shit.
So that guy is being yelled at by the smaller
tower
guy. Yeah,
the
he's like-
network. He owns like a cell phone.
he owns the networks, whereas he owns the towers.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like- he's like, I want my towers up and running, or you're done.
Yeah.
Then we get to see that guy driving home.
Yes.
It's like another horror movie.
And like in the middle of the road, suddenly there is a cell phone tower.
Yes.
But
But
it
it's
like forms. It like builds
Yeah, it
itself.
just
it fills itself. It's
and
made
it's
of
made of
cell-
phones.
It's made of phones.
and
And
he
then
flips out and like drives off the road.
but then everything goes really dark, and then all of a sudden
He walks
He-
back
well,
out onto the street and he's like, there's nothing here.
he's looking around,
Right.
And then the entire street is phones.
it's phones
for
and
like as far as he can see.
Yeah.
all lit up.
Yeah.
white,
It
bright.
looks awesome.
It's there's so many cool visual moments in this, but
It's just like it's cell phones. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like such an
there
odd
would-
thing.
Yeah. It's cool. I think it's really cool.
No,
it
it's
is.
cool.
It's
It's
neat
just-
looking. Yeah.
Never would have thought for cell phones to be the thing,
Yeah.
So
well, it's like the Ruins. You ever see the Ruins?
yeah, you're
Where
right.
You're just like, I can't believe I just loved a horror movie about a plant.
That murder. Yeah.
Like it's just a fucking plant.
This
I love
isn't
it.
a horror movie though.
I know. It's sort of a horror movie about
So,
cell phones.
the road made of cell phones, like basically tidal waves at him,
Yeah.
swallowing and enveloping him up.
Well, he tumbles
But
out
he
of the way.
dives.
He tumbles
like,
out of the
dives
way,
at the last minute.
and
They
he dives to-
teleport. They like disappear. They have the ability to just fucking vanish.
He runs into the woods as fast as he
Well,
can. He's like a fat guy. He's out of
Yeah.
breath.
He takes a. He
He
takes.
sits on a
He
rock.
sits on a rock, and then all of a sudden, all the trees.
No. Well, he gets. It's the same thing again with.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it says.
Somebody
Yeah.
calls him and it's the guy being like, "Hey, we delivered your phones. They're all here." And he's like, "What?"
No,
And-
he's like,
oh, no.
oh, we got cell service back.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, your cell service is back. He's like, what? And then all the trees in the forest light up with white cell phones.
They're
again.
all covered in cell
Yeah, the
phones.
trees are
And
covered
then
in cell
the
phones.
sparrow shows up on the screens,
Well, they
right?
They like
they all
bleed
slither,
down the
They bleed down
slither
it.
down onto the floor, and then they like encase him in a ball.
It's hard
And
to
then-
tell what happens here,
yeah.
but we're told later.
Yeah, that he was turned into juice.
They
but,
squeezed him into pure liquid. That's nuts.
That's what
man.
that's what
No
the guy
bones.
said.
no,
It's fucked up.
fucking. No, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
he's
just,
been
they
juiced.
just juiced him. They're that powerful. That's so insane.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So then
He's dead.
Yeah, he's super dead.
Mhm.
So then we go to that night
Now
is
they're
when
stealing-
when they
break
go
in.
into the Artificial Intelligence Museum, and there it's funny because
Dude,
like
I love it. The
in a
Artificial
giant case-
Intelligence Museum
there's that
that
much-
has the evil robot that almost
The
took
head,
over
the
their
head.
country.
Well, it had the head and the torso.
the
It
head
was-
and the torso.
Yeah.
There was like 9 pieces of them.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's a weird choice.
Right.
It's an odd
and they
choice.
steal it. That's
Yeah.
there's not we don't
And
need
he
to-
starts. Yeah, he just take it out, and that's for that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
then they the military gets attacked.
Well, that's the dates of the big attack, right?
No. The military has that.
Oh yeah, they're like preparing.
They're building a new cell tower.
while also prepping for battle.
Yes, like the new
In the
cell
same
tower.
place.
Well,
It's-
the new cell tower is being protected by the government.
right.
They said they were like, the city's under martial law. Like, don't worry about it. It's
Right,
just so we
right.
can rebuild all this stuff under like military specifications, so it'll get done super fast and right.
Yeah.
Yes.
and with
And-
tanks everywhere.
So then, like, you see the wide shot of the city from downward, and you see the big, giant, like,
oh my god,
shadow
Of the-
Yes.
of the thing we haven't
Of
seen
a,
yet.
a bird-shaped shadow.
A
You
bird
see it.
shape, a giant dragon-sized bird.
Yeah.
Right. And then
This fucking thing rules.
it's awesome. And then this is basically a giant attack scene. There's no dialogue really.
Well, yeah, like the phones just swarm over everyone, and then
Well, they first creep up. Remember, they
Yeah.
creep up, and they from underneath and start enveloping all the drivers of the tanks and the machinery.
Yeah.
just have them destroy everything.
So there's men
God, this
covered
scene.
in cell phones that are guiding their movements. It's really insane to think about.
Yeah, the crane starts knocking stuff over. The tank,
But
just
like,
starts
what's
blasting
happening?
apart.
They're not like taking over their mind.
Yeah.
They're
I think
just
it's wrapped
moving
around them and making them
and
move in
making
certain
them
ways.
move. Yeah, it's
With
really
at that
odd.
point, they could just be pushing buttons and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, it was weird. It was super
Yeah.
weird.
So,
But that scene is fucking mayhem.
it's mayhem. They blow
it's
up
just
tanks.
explosions and
I love
mayhem.
that
They
like,
knock over the new tower. It's just
The
all
people
done.
with
Yeah.
machine guns, it's just like as soon as the cell phones were on them, they were like, I'm just going to start
Ah!
shooting
Yeah.
in every direction and just mowing down like construction workers and other military people.
People get shot in like the chest, point blank. It's
Yeah.
awful.
There's a lot of murder right in this
Holy
scene.
fuck.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
many people die in this movie.
And then we go back to the government guy.
yeah.
And he's like, oh my God, they're the place that got hit's right by us. Lock all the doors.
Oh yeah, his person runs in to be like, I don't know if you heard it, sir, but the new towers have just been destroyed, and he's like, fuck, lock it down,
Lock it all
Close
down.
all the doors, and then something smashes through the window, and they take cover and they look and they're like, oh my God, it's a phone covered in gems.
And he goes, it's
It's your
phone.
phone.
He goes,
Yeah.
see,
And they're
told
like,
you.
CIA, you always got to trust that chief of police.
Yeah.
No,
and
he
that-
said you can always trust me, the minister.
The minister.
Because
right,
if you
yeah.
put technology in my hand, it'll always like do the right thing or whatever. And he goes to reach for the phone,
It says
Sparrow.
unknown caller.
It
Unknown
does the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
It does all-
just floats
Because
in
he
the air.
asks, he's like, "Who's unknown?" And he's like, "It says unknown caller."
Like he can't even read.
you can't
yeah.
read it at all. It says it in English too. which
Yeah,
is
it does say unnamed caller.
Unknown caller.
There's several things in this that are just in English.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe that's because the devices they're used to that because devices are coming from that.
Maybe
maybe.
Yeah, and that starts
swirling
Swirling
around the room. The other
again.
guy, he sends his helper away.
Yeah.
And he starts like batting at the phone, and then it flies
into
down
his mouth.
Yeah.
Flies into his mouth.
We don't see that one though. We just sort of like
It's
like
insinuated.
It flies.
it
Yeah.
flies at the screen, but we're not. So
Right.
then
Is that the hospital scene?
then it's the hospital scene.
Yep.
Does it go right to the
Then
hospital?
the head of whatever that committee
Like the
was,
prime minister, whoever he is,
Right,
like,
right,
whatever
right, yeah.
whoever that guy was, is being ushered into
the alderman.
The town alderman.
He's
No,
being,
yeah.
he's being ushered into the hospital room where the minister is, the minister of communications, or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And they're saying that he's like choking on something,
He
but they
can't-
don't know what it is.
We scanned him and everything's normal.
His vital signs are normal, except he just can't breathe. And then they watch him die, and then the bird phone activates and punches a hole through his fucking stomach.
Yeah, and it's like not immediate. It's like bump.
It
bump,
takes
It's
a
like
minute.
pushing through
bump,
his skin.
blam,
Yeah.
and then it fires out of his stomach and flies into the air.
And then
it
it
floats
shakes,
in front of
it shakes
the-
blood off onto them.
Oh, that's right.
It
Yeah.
wobbles, and then it smacks the prime minister
no,
guy.
it smacked the.
It smacks the committee head guy.
No, it smacked the guy who just had it blast through his stomach. That's the guy.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah, smacked
Yeah,
his
yeah.
and
in
it
the
le-
face
it
before
smacked him
went in
so
his mouth.
hard it left
Some of
gems
the
in his
gems
face.
In his face. That's right.
Yeah.
This one, yeah, you're right. It just like shakes blood on them and then bursts out the window.
And
Yeah.
that guy starts freaking out.
And he
He's
calls-
like,
doctor.
the doctor, and he's like, "Look, you have my full permission to reactivate Chidi." And he's like, and then the doctor starts fucking with him. He's
Doctor's
like,
kind of a
"Well,
dick
what
right
about
here,
all
yeah.
the regulations?
What about
and the
Parliament?
committees?"
Yeah.
I
two
can't
parties.
do that.
And he's basically like, he basically ensures that he's like, "Look,
It's my. If anything happens, I'll take the blame. Just fucking get that.
just
thing up.
it's not on me, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's not on me. Just I don't." he
get-
doesn't want cell phones to kill him. That's
He's like,
it.
Yeah.
He even says he's like it went into the secretary's stomach. God knows
Right,
where it'll
right,
go in me.
right,
Let's
right.
just
Let's just do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah, okay. So
And he's sitting there making the new one right now.
yeah, he's
Like,
already
like,
working
he's
on
rebuilding.
it. He knew it would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes, no problem. And then
he's already working on Chidi, and then it's that the city scene where the bird finally reveals itself.
Right.
Yeah.
no.
Because isn't there a conversation about
Well-
the aura thing?
No, they
Is
don't
that
know
not
about
having
that yet.
They don't know about that
Because
yet.
they
Right.
haven't-
You're right. You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. At
Right.
this point, I think isn't there people are buying
Well, yeah.
cell phones.
Yes, that's what
again.
Huey's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are buying.
It's a city scene.
People are finally like getting new cell phones again or something.
And the guy's
They're
like-
standing in line.
Oh,
Like,
no,
what-
that's after all that.
No, the guy's
Right.
like, he's like, what if your phone flies away again? He's like, I got a
chain
chain
while-
to put it on, so I can't.
That's how it starts.
Yeah,
Is that before? Or
Nope.
after?
That is exactly where we are.
that's
Okay.
100%.
Because he gets a new phone, he comes out and he goes, "Ha ha!" And
yeah,
then he
you're
like
right,
takes
you're
a selfie, and as soon as he hits the selfie button, it rips him like 10 feet in the air. He drops his pants rip,
Yeah,
and it goes and it adds to the eye of the bird.
eye of the bird.
And then they zoom out, and then finally the giant demon crow
This
bird.
bird
thing.
looks
It's
awesome.
fucking bad
It's
as
a
fuck.
crow made of cell phones.
It looks
is
so
awesome
cool.
as shit.
Never
Yeah.
thought I'd see that in a movie. Jesus Christ,
I
this is so
mean,
weird, man.
So it starts flying around the city and just destroy.
Oh my god! It scoops up like 20 people
Well, like,
in its claws.
The thing is,
well,
it
yeah,
can-
it cuts
its-
a building in half
Its
with
wing
its wings.
doesn't even bend. It
It
can
thro-
fly through anything like it's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's flapping its wings is really just for show. Honestly,
yeah,
it
it's not-
doesn't
no,
need to.
They can fly themselves,
Yeah.
so they don't.
Yeah.
It's not actually aerodynamically
But so it's
working.
just like
Yeah.
crashing through buildings.
All
and-
Right.
Can we address that point now? Like the way people talk in this movie, there are cell phones flying around murdering
And they
people,
never say
and
anything.
people don't really
They don't
react
see
to
as-
that.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like, there's danger.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
but if you think about the specific
Well-
type of danger, you wouldn't you'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Because we didn't talk about the specifics, but in that one meeting, they were like, "Do you think this is terrorists?" And it's like, terrorists.
How would they do
They're
something
making
like this?
cell phones with no means of propulsion,
Flying.
and fly away.
with precision.
And also
Like,
enough to
what?
kill people and punch holes through
It's
bodies.
obviously not
Terrorism.
humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, terrorists.
Right.
Oh,
So
God.
anyway, so the bird
is wreaking
destroys
havoc.
tons of the city, grabs 2 giant talons full of people, and then we get the big reveal. Down the middle of the street, he's like with his soap shoes or whatever.
Yeah, he's just zooming up.
and Cheaty's back.
God, Cheaty
Looks almost more daddish than
yes,
Yeah.
he seems
Then-
less animate than the doctor.
Like
Yeah,
the doctor looks somewhat dapper. Like he's got like he's got
Cheaty
like
looks weird.
he looks like waxy. He's
Well, he is a robot.
I know.
He looked like that in the first movie.
And it's
so.
just
It's like in a Small Wonder universe. This is like what you would buy your like son, so he had a dad to take him to a basketball game.
Yeah.
Like he's like so fucking dad looking. It's crazy.
He looks like a dad. He really does.
It's
and then,
hysterical.
the way he runs,
The way he moves in general is
everything
not. It's
is
like an
very
action
much
figure.
like somebody turned their
it's
dad into
intentional.
it. Yeah.
It's intentional. He
It-
moves like that in the first movie too.
It's incredible.
And the actor doesn't really move like that. It's his robot body language is really dead.
it's just
It's like he's a corpse in motion.
Yeah.
It's
It looks
really
weird.
odd.
It's
it's
awesome.
bizarre.
Either way, he runs up a building and grabs this giant yellow net.
Oh yeah,
It's like a
it's
construction.
like a construction net
A
for
construction
like
net.
debris. Let's keep
As
it.
the people are falling, the talons let go and the people are falling in slow motion. And he basically jumps from one side of the street from a building to the other and catches them in this giant net.
Yeah.
Which is
And they're like, "Hey, thanks, Cheaty. You're back.
you're
This
back.
Is great.
And I'm like, wait, they
This man
shouldn't
murdered hundreds of people.
They should
Yeah,
be terrified of
everyone
him.
everyone else in the movie up until now has been like, Cheaty is a monster,
Right.
That should be kept out of our lives, and then people are like, "Hey, Cheaty!"
They should be freaking
all
out
right.
because there's the death crow and then this thing. Like,
And
what
that
the fuck
thing's
is
there.
happening?
They were literally in a crow's hand made of cell phones.
Yeah, like shit's going down
And
fast.
they're like,
Cheaty's just
Cheaty's
caught
back.
us.
the mass murderer.
They
Cheaty's
just
back.
fell like the length of a skyscraper.
Yeah, and they're just like,
Like, oh wow, Cheaty's
"Thanks,
back.
Cheaty.
So-
No harm, no foul."
Then Cheaty throws the net across the whole street, and the crow
So-
like stops, and they both do like their whole eye to eye.
Yeah, like
Oh yes, it's on type of
the
moment.
net
Yeah.
somehow stops a crow that can fly through
I think
buildings.
it was more the crow was just seeing what's up,
I guess, man.
but then the crow
Yeah.
liquefies.
He turns
but
into phones.
turns
and,
into phones and goes through the net and then reforms. Kind of,
and then they
right.
start fighting.
they start fighting. Yeah.
And it's just kind of boilerplate fighting.
Well,
like,
he remember he uses his magnetism because that's like his thing.
it wraps around
Oh,
him.
he runs
He-
up the building.
building, and then he gets
Yeah, he
the
smashes
machine guns,
the
and he's
machine
running
guns.
backwards up a building, shooting at the
God.
crow. It's amazing. It's so
this part
good.
is so nuts. Yeah,
It's so nuts looking.
because he's like running up the building, then he dives in through a window, and now the bird.
He
is, like,
destroys so
cutting a
much of the
in
building.
half to chase
Yeah.
after him.
It's like Man of Steel. He destroys
Yeah.
like that whole building with people in it.
There are
100%.
people all over the
Yeah.
place. Every scene, I love that about this. Every scene when there's an action sequence
Right.
going on, it looks like they didn't tell everybody that was on camera.
Right. Yeah.
So there's just like people still shopping or like just riding bikes, and you're just like, there's people everywhere. Whenever they're
Why are
in
they
the
not
city.
freaking
No,
out?
God,
it's insane.
that thing is right there. It's awesome.
So then he gets in a truck with a missile launcher on the back,
right.
and he's driving through the city with that.
and he hits it with one missile, and it takes it out, but then it just reforms.
And then he fires 4 missiles, and it dodges all of them.
Dodges
Dodges
and the
them, which
missiles
means that
are
hit-
fired into
There's-
the city.
There
Into
is
this
so much unrealized
chaos.
collateral
Damage.
damage
Collateral
that happens
damage.
outside of what's going on in this film.
Yes.
That it's
Yeah.
staggering.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he drives out into the city, out into like a field, and then he drives the truck into the bird's mouth. He's in the truck, and the bird are now like
eats him up.
Yeah, so the bird starts flying upward into the sky with the truck with him in it.
In the
In
stomach.
his belly. Belly, quote
Yeah.
unquote.
Yeah.
And then so what he does is he takes the gas cap off with his foot.
yeah, and he's got like a wheel on his foot.
It's the
Okay.
wheelie things in his feet.
Yeah.
And then he starts making sparks that go right into the gas tank. And it fucking explodes inside of the bird.
It's awesome looking.
And he just like lands on the ground and is like,
fuck
fucking
yeah.
fine.
Fine.
Badass.
Well, then his battery says it's low.
Yeah.
His
Oh yeah.
that's
And
when
he's-
we yeah.
He
And
looks for a source, and there's these big like
3 like satellite dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's a power source in the middle, and he starts running towards it, and the bird starts reforming from being exploded, which
Yeah.
looked awesome as
It
hell.
did.
Everything the bird did looked fucking great.
Yeah, there's so much good,
I mean, the cell phone stuff just
cool
looked
looking
great.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like
I mean,
every-
honestly, there's the waves and all the the blobs and everything. They all
They all
looked
looked
really
great.
good.
like
it was-
it's like
it
the
was
best you could have sentient cell phone clouds.
it was
looking.
properly
Yeah.
ominous. Like it
Yeah.
was so ominous
Yeah.
looking whenever you saw it. You're like, that's kind of damn scary.
And the fact that they have like a cloaking device with the screen.
Yeah,
is like,
it was
yeah.
really cool.
So he's like,
I don't think they have a cloaking device.
No, they have. It's just,
I think. Well, it will explain later. But I have a theory on
Okay, fine.
why you don't see them sometimes. I have a theory.
He barely gets to the.
Well, he doesn't. It's about to bear down on him, and it like hits an invisible barrier.
Yeah, it hits like a wall, and
Yeah.
there's like some sort of weird force field around
Around-
all the satellites.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of them, where
Right. And
he's
he
trying
plugs
to get-
himself into the power source.
It's unbelievable, like how rapidly he went from kicking an insane amount of ass to like crawling on the ground. Like it's at
Well,
low
he just
battery,
started. Yeah.
and he was like, "That's such a terrible amount of notification." Like
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
it's like you're gonna shut down. I hope you
In a
brought
couple
something.
minutes.
Yeah, it's like you're toast other-wise. So yeah, he
I wonder
gets
if that was. I don't remember that in the first movie. If he had battery
battery
problems.
powers. Yeah.
So,
he-
yeah, there's no explanation yet.
Does
for
the
why
bird just like
those-
give up and fly away?
Yeah.
yeah, it like glares
Yeah.
at him and
Because
flies
he knows
off.
they can't get past those satellites. For some, we won't find out yet
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
There is a reason
God,
that
this
kind of
movie.
barely makes sense.
There's so much going on.
Oh, this
in
movie's
fucking
so
movie.
packed. It's insanely packed. So, okay,
What
because
is
now they need
next?
to develop.
Then he's looking at they're back in the lab, and
Right,
Chidi is
right.
showing him the 3D version of what happened with the bird.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Or the doctor.
Yeah, he's showing the doctor what happened, and Vanilla.
Isn't this when the doctor starts to theorize the whole aura thing?
Yeah, he sees in the bird's stomach there's a face.
Right.
Where he sees that
Yes.
weird,
He sees
like
the lawnmower man. And
he sees the
bird.
lawnmower- Lawnmower Man face.
First they show him the thing, and then he goes. He makes Vanilla look up a bunch of deaths.
yes,
He's like, look up
Look
this
up
area
interesting deaths.
because
yeah.
that's right. He calls his wife again at some point. He makes a second. He reactivates another cell phone to
yeah.
call his girlfriend to give her
And he puts a tracking device in it.
But he puts a tracking device and it disappears near
Wait,
this
didn't he do that
area.
earlier?
No,
That's what I'm saying. That happened already.
Earlier, yeah.
this
And
is-
he
yeah.
knows about this area, and he told Vanilla to like research it, and she starts rifling off like things. She was like, "Yeah, somebody died while driving with their cell phone."
They were texting. yeah.
and the guy hung himself on a cell phone tower,
And he goes,
then,
wait.
that's it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Who was that person?" And they say his name, and he turns out to be this famous ornithologist.
God damn it.
and that he knows the name of, but doesn't explain everything
Right.
right here. But he just goes, I recognize that name or something.
and then
And then he goes, I have a theory. And he goes, analyze that footage through this spectral analyzer or some
Like,
shit.
think about what he's
energy
saying right there.
auraizing.
Well, this is when it turns into Ghostbusters, and we didn't
Yeah,
really
it's
realize
insane.
it.
It's
This
insane.
now becomes Ghostbusters.
Because he's basically like, all humans have a positive aura slightly above their skin.
Oh, that's what else he does. He calls that place.
Oh, and he talks to the guy. He's like,
Yeah,
"What's
he
going
goes,
on with
"What's-
these
with-
three?"
Yeah, with these satellites. And the guy goes, well, this is a secret, but I'm going to tell you
Oh,
because
God,
because
right.
cell phones are killing people. I'll tell you. And he's like, yeah, there's this project where we're trying to reach aliens, but we only want to send good energy out.
So we're just
that we
beaming
can-
good energy out.
So it's good energy, and that's all the explanation you get.
Good
is that it's good energy is being
I think
shot
it said
out of
signals,
computers.
but
Signals.
whatever.
What it-
Good signals, whatever that means.
Same nonsense.
It's nonsense.
It's hysterical.
So the
It's
theory
awesome.
right there is, from that moment on, I assume that the reason they had a force field around it was because of the good
Good energy.
energy pulsating from the satellites.
From its intention or from
I mean, who knows?
Dude, it's like why there's no other explanation in the movie why that bird couldn't get through the satellite
I
field.
know.
Because it's so positive.
That has this feel. I mean, he said that some gurus' fields can be as big as 50 feet. Imagine how big a field of a goodly intentioned computer system
Satellite.
must be gigantic.
Right. Well, that's what he said. So after that conversation, he says to Vanilla, like, the thing about the skin. Human skin, all humans have, like,
He's
an
like, there's
aura
a
that
membrane
emanates
of
a
aura around
membrane
you.
of aura around. I was like, that. It's so passive. Like, wait, what?
Wait. This is a movie about cell phones and robots and,
And
shit. Now we're
science.
talking about human auras and stuff.
Human auras, and he's like, and he says basically like, if a being was made purely of negative aura, unlike humans, which give out positive, then they can't cross. Oh wow.
Oof, we're nowhere.
We're
We're not even at
in.
the first ending yet.
Oh
know.
my god. Damn.
So he like
the first ending, right?
he sees the fucking face. There's like a red screaming face
In
in
the
the
bird's
chest of
chest.
the bird.
Yeah.
And he's like, I recognize him. He's that guy.
Is that?
They go to his house. Or no, this is
Well, no,
when he
they
goes-
developed a.
Well,
they
he
developed a
explains
beam.
that they can blast positive or negative energy away by neutralizing it with positive energy.
And they make their own little 3 satellite. It's
Yeah.
small. It's like maybe the size
And
of
but
like
they
a,
like
well, it
fix
goes
it.
on the back of their.
He goes,
it's
put
like
it
the
on
size
the
of a
van.
it's like the size of a refrigerator. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's like, Vanilla, attach it to the van. Let's do this shit.
So the three of them.
Wait, is the yes.
Cheaty's with them.
yeah. Chidi goes there first, and he's walking up, and he's like, he walks through what it's like
He
this
walks
weird
through the
little
house.
like
It's like
weird
a bird
little grove,
sanctuary.
bird sanctuary. It's forgotten.
There was a
and-
sign. It says bird sanctuary.
but it's all like dilapidated and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes in, and
He goes
doesn't
through
go
the
in
building.
yet.
You know, he
He
goes.
walks through the building
He walks
into-
all the way through the building, goes through the back door,
and there's
into where
just piles of cell phones.
the piles of cell phones are in the backyard. And he's like,
like-
"Oh, I found them.
He's like, Doctor, the cell phones are here.
Bring in the truck."
Bring the truck.
and they
and
back that fucking big ass truck in.
And then it starts reforming into the crow.
And then they
yeah,
hit
well,
it.
once he turns it on, once
Yeah.
they turn on the thing, it turns
starts-
back into the crow.
Crow, and then they have like a whole tug of war fight because the beam is like a tether.
Yeah. They're
It's the
stuck
crow
together.
is trying to fly away. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
the crow's
super
trying to
crazy.
fly away. Well, it's almost like the scene.
It's
in
not really
Jurassic
like it's
Park
flying
2.
away. It's like
Yeah.
it's
It's
like
like
two
that.
people fighting over a table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if one of them goes this way, they go that, like
way.
it's like
and it
they're-
starts. The crow starts trying to
super
flip the
weird.
van, and then
they're
like
pushing.
Cheaty like grabs it
Catches
on
it.
both sides and slides underneath, and then catches it on the other
God,
side.
him just laying on the ground and shooting in a
It's so
direction
good.
is hysterical.
He just like floats. Like, so yeah, it doesn't work.
No, they get into 50%, and the bird sort of collapses, and an
Yeah.
egg falls out of it.
No.
That doesn't happen yet. We
So
have
the-
a whole thing we got to
Yeah,
get
no.
through before that.
The machine like turns off for some reason.
Remember, because it quits. Like
the
it
machine
quits.
like
Oh, it breaks.
malfunctions.
it
You're right.
malfunctions.
and
then-
the bird. Oh no, wait. I
Yeah,
think.
I think-
yeah,
yeah.
he is right though. That's when the bird is all kind of fucked up.
And he
from what it was already been doing, and Cheaty's standing there looking at it, and it just spits an egg out.
Yeah, and
And
then like
it spits
And
the egg out, and it
slams on the
turns into the
ground.
guy.
The bird
turns into like a
collapses.
person shape, and it starts approaching Cheaty.
I just thought that happened after what happens in the
No.
house.
No,
No.
this happened because
No.
it walks into the house.
Yeah, it walks-
All the
Oh,
cell
okay,
phones
okay.
fall.
Hold on,
So-
hold on.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it turns into
like a humanoid,
humanoid cell phone man.
Man walks up and starts fighting with Cheaty, and then it turns in as it walks up. It gains this fucking face.
It looks like a demon face.
Yeah,
It's
like a
it's
demon
demon
face.
Right.
of the guy, and he starts fighting.
Side note, which I hate saying this because it is the best thing on the IMDb trivia, and it makes me literally want to cry. But originally, if scheduling allowed this character, the bad guy,
Yeah.
was supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
He's like best friends with Superstar. He's really good friends with Superstar, and
Ah!
originally they wanted Schwarzenegger to be
That would have made this
the
movie
cell phone man.
so much better.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine how?
That would have put
Like him and all those other scenes would have been incredible. All the scene. Well, that
I
we're
mean, what's
about
up?
to get
Imagine
to.
him in the fucking flashback
I
scenes.
can't believe it.
It would be like the greatest movie ever made. It's so good.
easily.
Like I read that, and I'm like, oh, how did you? Oh
I
my
thought you were
God.
gonna say Nicolas Cage or something.
Yeah, just imagine
Arnold
Schwarzenegger
Schwarzenegger's better.
talking in that.
With well, he'd be overdubbed. Everyone's overdubbed anyway.
It'd be so-
Everything in this movie's overdubbed.
Overdubbed, yeah, yeah.
overdubbed, yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it would just be so good if it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah. So
Oh man.
Yeah, I know, right? I read that. Oh fuck! Can you imagine the ending with Schwarzenegger? Oh my god!
That would have been really.
That'd be so
cool.
good.
God damn.
Yeah, so close.
All right.
So anyway, so now the humanoid is like arguing with fucking
Cheaty.
because he's like you're not a human. You should be helping them. They're fucking terrible pieces of shit.
He's like,
And he's like, no, I'm reprogrammed.
He's like, why are you so angry at the human race?
Yeah, he's like, I'm reprogrammed.
That's when he says anyone that uses a cell phone deserves to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes it clear he wants to kill all humans.
And then he turns and he walks through.
Yeah, something they talk about makes him like
Just take pause.
Yeah,
or
take
something.
pause, and he walks away. He walks to the house, and the cell phones like
Just
fall
fall away.
apart. But then the doors open, and then it swoops into the room, and he's like T-posing.
And
with all these birds landing on the ghost.
At first, the birds land on nothing, and then
It's
you
like his
sort of
ghost.
see
So
him
this is my
there.
theory. I think he is a ghost. I mean, he's a ghost.
No, it's a ghost. Yes.
So the phones are disappearing because he's like infused with them.
A ghost is controlling all of this.
But the phones
Well,
can't.
I think he's like infused with them somehow. That's why like they just can appear. They're ghosts.
Yeah.
They're not even real.
well,
really.
they are made of the ones that came out of people's
They
hands.
are, but they're like infused with him. That's why I feel like he can like
once
just
he,
like the other
once
thing
he
where he's
absorbs them,
yeah.
they can do a lot of stuff.
That's
with
true.
it.
Maybe. I mean,
I
they
think
can
they're
fly.
just-
Why
they're
can't they
just-
fucking disappear?
Yeah, they're just because
They
they're
can
ghost
ghost
phones.
teleport.
They're ghost phones.
Once he absorbs them, they become part of him.
I want everyone listening to. We're talking about ghost phones.
Yes,
In this thing about a robot.
this movie rules, man.
This movie's amazing.
It's pretty nuts. Like you really think, oh yeah, this might be the most insane part.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In context of
God
the
damn.
rest of this movie, this whole sequence is.
We can cut this down pretty fast. It's not. There's not.
It's not a lot.
It's mostly just lots of beautiful.
It becomes
shots.
Planet Earth.
It's
You watch Planet Earth on Netflix. It's that with a guy, just a guy and birds.
Oh my god. The baby thing. I just remember the
No,
baby.
we're getting
Okay,
there.
so-
We're getting there. So wait, the room
This is a
envelops
series-
him and it turns real, and it's him and his
and
granddaughter.
he's alive. Yeah,
And
alive.
it's basically we're
He's,
watching
like, teaching
his.
somebody about birds.
He's an
We want-
ornithologist. We see in a book on the table. He's like Dad, Grandpa, you're on the cover of this magazine. It's like Time or something.
Wait a minute, is that a flashback in a flashback? The dead
Yeah,
baby?
oh, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yes. No, it is.
I didn't even realize we flashbacked in a flashback.
We
It's
flashback
so
in a
good.
flashback. So it shows him, and it's like just a porn reel of him loving birds and beautiful shots.
Fucking loving them.
Slow mo, him just staring at him, basically masturbating without touching himself.
And then
It's just he loves birds.
Well, she's like,
Somebody-
I would have died if it wasn't for birds. And she's like, what
Yeah.
do you mean?
No, she goes, why did you choose birds to be the thing you're obsessed with? And he goes, well, it wasn't so much
They chose me.
They
me
chose
choosing
me.
birds. Birds chose me. And she's like, what do you mean? And then we get a flashback in a flashback of a dead baby.
It cuts to a
Dude.
dead baby puppet, like, and it's
puppet.
like it's like a hardcore looking puppet.
Yeah, it is a blue
Baby.
dead baby puppet. And a woman
It's like
crying.
There's
next
not
to
even
it.
like a pan.
No, just
It's
hard
just
cut.
boom.
It's just boom. Look at this dead baby.
Look at this greased up dead baby.
It's like wet and dead.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
shocking. It's shocking.
It was nuts. And then
whoa,
he starts
what?
explaining that when he was born, he died, and the doctor said that I was dead, and my mother was crying, and then a bird flies in.
Sparrow.
A sparrow flies in, lands on his chest, and like pecks him back to life.
yeah, pecks him like 4 times. And
And
then,
the puppet coming back to life.
Oh!
It
The
is
puppet turns into like color,
It
but it's
is
a baby.
terrifying.
Oh, it's scary.
Oh! So I just don't get why that wasn't CGI. Everything
I know!
else in the movie's made out of CGI.
And
like
they made a
everything.
dead baby puppet. Imagine a dead baby CGI though. It would look just as weird.
Crazy, but the puppet was almost like beyond, like
The puppet
like
almost-
Uncanny Valley kind of thing, because you've been looking like, oh, all that stuff is fake. That's
Yeah.
fake. That's fake. That's fake.
It's like it was,
and
and
then you're looking at a puppet,
then
you're
the
like,
bird came in, and you're like,
The
it's
bird
like
was
two
seen.
different kinds of Uncanny Valley interacting.
Because the bird is so CG, like intense CG. It's like 1996
Beyond
bird
not
CG.
real.
Yeah, it's like doesn't look. The bird looks way worse than everything else in the movie for some reason.
Yeah.
Like it just looks like it has like a line around it. It doesn't look
Yeah.
right. Like just
Anyway, it packs him back
like
to life.
like the Sliders team came in and did a Sparrow.
Oh my god.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's
yeah.
like why did they? Well, apparently this had like 15 VFX companies work on it. So
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
this movie was in production for 2010 was the first movie. So this is like almost a decade of production.
Jesus Christ.
And that was a
All right.
huge hit. So like they really wanted this to be made and they spent a lot of time on it.
Well,
So
they knocked it out of the park.
They obviously made
100%.
it fucking pure art, so it's fine.
I hope he fights aliens next time.
Dude, I don't know how you top this. This is fucking insane. So the baby's back to life. He's now, and he talks about when he was a young
get
boy.
visited by a sparrow every
Sparrow,
morning.
he turns fans off.
So the sparrow can live in the fan.
Yeah.
And in its little nest.
And then he's like...
And then we start bleeding into birds are dying, and he thinks it's because of cell phones.
Because of cell phone towers, yeah.
So he starts trying to fight it, like, locally through his government, and he's getting shut down.
This is really
and then,
long.
Dude, it's so
It's
long.
another movie.
It's like a whole second...
It's a short film.
Yeah.
It's like the thing
a
you were
short
saying,
film.
where like you see a cell phone fly out of a hand, but then we have to watch it for 3 minutes. But instead of like watching him get shut down and just assuming it happened 4 or 5 times, we watch it happen 4 or 5 times.
I will say that did give that character a lot more, like, you're like,
Dude,
okay,
you-
I get where he's coming from.
Oh,
you know
absolutely.
more about him than you do about the Doctor.
Yeah.
He's
the
like
main
the only
character of the
fleshed out
movie is
character.
just a guy that you're supposed to love
Because he's a great
because
famous
he
actor.
is him. And
But-
then this guy gets a backstory.
And it's actually like...
And it's a legit
It's a
backstory.
sympathetic. You're like, man, I actually kind of get where this guy's coming
Yes,
from.
all the birds are dying. Like, this is the problem.
This is probably the...
It's like a man going to hell and like...
I would... My plan, if I ever watch this again, is I just want to show someone this scene.
The
And,
flashback.
and then I want to turn off the movie and then sit there and explain what the movie's about. Because if you just watch this section, the rest of the movie is so monumentally insane. It's like no one would be like, it's about
Oh, so that's what
he turns into a suicide ghost that is confused with bird souls, and then takes over all the self. Because he does like
That
suck
is
up
what
all
happens.
bird
Yeah,
souls.
he like buries all the birds in the ground at the sanctuary. And then, like, he finally gets fucked with too many times, and he's like, you know what? They start building a cell phone tower
Right
across,
next to his house.
right next to his house, and he's like, neighbor.
Oh
He
my
goes,
God.
he talks to his neighbor. His neighbor's like, oh, hey, what's going on? And he's like, what do you mean what's going on? What the fuck? Birds are dying. You're like letting them do that, and he goes, well, I gotta make some money. He's like, what the fuck?
No, his
dude?
neighbor like says like go back in your house. Like, he's like,
And then-
shut up, idiot.
And then,
No one
like,
gives a fuck about
very
this guy.
clear thing. Like, the most like, shatteringly depressing things happen with birds around that man.
Oh
man.
my
Like,
god!
The bird
They
like
start
crashes
fighting
through the glass.
each other, dude. A toucan started fighting like a parakeet. You're like, what's going on? They're like murdering
And
each
then
other.
they
in the
both
sky.
fly into a barbed wire fence right in front of him to die. He catches a bird that falls out of a nest, and it just like dies in his hands. He's like, good lord!
It's such a good. Like, this movie, that should have won an Oscar. This whole section should win an Oscar. It's that amazing.
It's really fucking intense.
It's so good, too, because nobody listens to him, but the guy was on, like, the cover of Time magazine.
I know.
Ornithology. Like, if we don't listen to this dude about birds, who do we listen to?
Well, it's because he was telling them to put their cell phones
I know.
away. And people in his talk about how cell phones are killing people are like answering phone calls.
That was amazing.
She was in the
so
front
angry.
row and answered a phone call.
He's like,
Oh my
the cell phones
God.
are actively killing the thing I love the most. And then her phone rings. She's like, yeah, I can talk.
Hey, what's
It's
up?
like, what?
Man,
The
It's
beginning
so
of
good.
Mantis.
It's so good.
this fucking movie rules.
It's a creating a villain, man. It's a... God, if it was Schwarzenegger, though.
Oh,
I mean,
my
he's just
God.
so good.
Can you imagine the people just dismissing Schwarzenegger?
Also, it would be a Bollywood movie.
Oh my god!
Like, why is this Austrian dude in...
Just like an old meek.
Because the guy that's playing him,
ornithologist.
is fine.
Yeah,
He's
he's
good. He's a young guy in old man makeup
Yeah.
too. By the way,
And what did you say he looked like? He looked like
Sam Rockwell.
Sam
Sam
Rockwell
Rockwell in old man
in
makeup.
old man makeup. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. He's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's good. But it makes it weird because he is wearing makeup. So he doesn't exactly look old.
He just
looks
gets
young
more
old.
makeup. It's fine.
It's like Spike Jonze in the Jackass movies. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's like that's what he looks like.
So,
So this is when he finally kills himself, and then
in the tower they built on his property.
Dude, they show
He
the.
literally hangs himself on a cell tower next to his.
It's fucking crazy.
And then
And
you
then
see
his spirit,
which
like
is
leaves.
golden.
It's blue.
Is it blue?
Yeah.
I think it
Oh, it's
started
blue.
out blue.
Because I love it because it CG floats out of his body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
it
was
is-
like, wait, what's going on?
What is happening?
And then
And
he flies
he goes
back
to
to
his
his house.
house, and he goes to the graveyard, and then all the bird souls like fly out of the dirt and fly into him, and then he turns bright red and has this like
rage.
demon mouth.
Yeah, the demon
Or
face.
demon face, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's how this happened.
Yeah.
And then that brings. Then
But
we go
how
back.
does he infect cell phones?
Matt, it's
Like they don't actually.
I don't want it all
I know,
spoon-fed
I
to
know.
me.
I feel like
I'll come up with my own
I
answer.
feel like what happens is the birds fly out of him. The birds are under his control, so he sends a bird into each cell phone. That's why a bird appears on every cell phone screen.
The power of the sparrow,
The
man.
birds are
Okay.
in the phones, and
So they're
he is
possessing-
just controlling the birds.
I get it now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I figured.
No, that's a good explanation. That makes sense.
It doesn't.
It's just
And-
like the
he's-
combination of like
He
these
becomes
are
like
the
a
things
bird
that
god.
killed me,
It's-
and I'm gonna use them to murder the people.
Well, he's
that
gonna.
murdered
Yeah.
them.
Well, there's like that's a fuck you. I'm gonna take away the thing you love. You took away what I love.
Yeah, now
And I want to use it to kill all.
Where's
you.
the president sent that you can just a ghost can inhabit an electronic
It's.
device?
It's.
I mean, that's
it's a
just
ghost.
yeah.
You don't need to explain
Yeah,
ghosts.
all
Well,
right,
maybe
fine.
maybe that's what
It's just energy.
maybe
you're
that's
right.
the power.
All right.
Yeah,
he
that's
gets
the
from-
energy.
Maybe that's
That's
the
the
power
energy.
he gets from hanging himself from a cell tower. Maybe like the cell tower imbued his spirit with the ability to infect cell phones.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm more on board now.
anyway,
I mean,
then-
it's like any horror movie how somebody dies tragically and they get like all
Yes.
they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back powerful. It's what
Okay,
it is.
okay.
Whatever. It
so
doesn't
then
matter.
we back to the Chidi fight. He's
Yeah,
like,
it cuts back and
Because it cuts
and
back, now we know
somehow
everything.
he witnessed all that or was told all of I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure
mean,
exactly
it's-
how
Chidi
he
seems to realize what happened.
yeah.
and he goes, well,
He watched it with us,
Yeah.
like with the audience.
He's
yeah.
like, oh wow, nice cinematography.
Oh, so that's what happened?
what happens here? They go somehow they end
Well,
up
then,
back.
like, he
they
reactivates
turn
the-
the machine on from outside and it starts
Also,
like
really makes you question if God brought him back to life with the sparrow. What does all this mean?
who brought him, man?
Because he was brought back to life only for the world to like truly destroy him, so that he could become basically a demon.
yeah.
Really weird.
It's insane. The message there is nuts.
Well, then
Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
like they reactivate
You're
nuts.
right.
they reactivate
Yeah.
the machine.
And it starts like slamming him around the room.
Well, no, then he claws Chidi in the chest.
No. Well, first he's still a person. He's getting slammed around
Oh,
the room.
that's right. Yeah.
And Chidi goes outside.
And the
And
bird,
somehow he turns. I guess he turns back. Oh yeah, he
all
flies.
the cell phones come back together,
Yeah,
Right.
He flies out the house and turns back into the bird.
and he claws Chidi in the chest.
Claws Chidi in the chest.
And Chidi falls down, and then
That's when Vanilla.
Vanilla.
She gives him her battery.
yes, and she jumps out. She throws a hook around like a
Oh,
tree
the
or
winch.
something.
The winch for
Yeah.
the van.
So that way the bird can't pull away the
Yes.
van.
car
and then
while
she,
she's doing this.
She pulls out her battery, puts it in Chidi, and they make
Right.
it seem like it's a big sacrifice, but they just have other batteries.
Yeah, it's just like
So
I'll temporarily not have a battery here.
Yeah.
Not a
And
big
it's
deal.
Fine.
he wakes up. He stops the bird from flying off. The bird is looking progressively worse and worse.
It's not looking
It's,
good.
yeah, it's looking sickly.
Yes, and then the bird all melts away. And then they suck the
It
They-
says
so
100%
this is when-
neutralized.
yeah.
100%
With
Ghostbusters. Like,
positive energy.
they said they were neutralizing the negative energy, but what they actually did was suck all of him. They
into a
captured
little
him.
golden pyramid.
No,
thing.
it is little
It's the
pyramid.
there's literally a Ghostbusters.
It's a proton
like-
pack.
Yeah,
Is it the
trap.
van
Or the
was
trap.
a proton pack and the inside was a trap?
yeah.
It's like makes
It's
no
Ghostbusters.
sense.
They
But like they
Ghostbusters
said
it.
they were gonna negate it, but they
They
trapped
literally sucked him out
Yeah,
of the bird.
I thought what they were doing this whole time until this moment was like reversing the polarity of his energy to
so he
make
just
him good
dissipates
again.
into the
it.
earth.
to make him a good
I
ghost.
thought, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
they were just trying to like null it out, like it would dissipate.
Well, they did say like positive plus negative equals
Yeah.
0.
No,
so
they
then they would.
suck him into a containment unit.
Yes,
and now they've got him, and
It's like
then
a
we
little
get
and then we get the
pyramidal.
first ending.
we get the first ending, which is celebratory.
I really thought the movie was over.
I honestly did. Yeah, this.
I was completely satisfied. I was like, this guy, I mean, that guy died sad, but they beat him with the robot. Fine.
no problem.
It's like the ending of 1408, you know, like the first
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, well, I remember when I told you guys when
Yeah,
I
the
saw
guy
it.
got out and
The
walked-
guy was like, that was great. And he's like, he announced it to everyone and left. And I'm like, I said to Mike, I'm like, that guy's going to always think 1408 ends right there
That's
for the rest
awesome.
of his life.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, but
It's like
this
playing
ending,
Castlevania Symphony of the Night and never be
Never-
like,
never
oh,
seeing the upside down
wow, that's a
castle, yeah.
weird choice for the storyline, and then
I guess
never
I
play
killed.
it
Never
again.
play it
I
again.
killed a Belmont. No, yeah.
you could do that with this movie. You could leave right now.
And you'd be yeah.
Be like, it's a
Done?
complete
Oh,
movie.
cool.
Wow.
Done.
They
Cell
nailed it.
phones. They beat him.
Cheaty. I knew he
Good
had it in him.
triumphs.
Yeah, they have like a press conference where the prime minister's like, "Fucking Cheaty's the best. Cheaty, say something."
then-
Cheaty goes up there and goes, "You know, I couldn't have done
It's-
it without my creator and my lady friend." and they all like
My
cry
only wish
and
is
shit.
this was the end of Short Circuit 2, where like
Yes.
Chidi was like all like
All
in gold.
Oh my
And he
God,
like he jumps up in the air like, yes, like, he's a citizen, yeah.
But they have this press conference, and at the press conference,
Is the Chidi
they announced that they're gonna make 500 Cheaties for
An army of
the
Cheaties.
army.
Yeah,
And the
because
bag scientist guys in the audience like, son of a bitch. I
bitch.
Oh, it is
can't
like, hey, dude,
they
the
killed
thing
my
that
dad. They
and they
smashed
knew that
my
robot
dad's
that killed
head.
your dad. We're gonna make an army of them.
Fuck, man, fuck you.
so he
Yeah.
goes out into the
So
he just
wait,
knows
all
what
right.
to do here.
It's so
It's
good.
been one day. Like,
Yeah.
how long has
Of
it
peace.
been?
1 day of peace.
They downloaded an evil fucking bird ghost man in a pyramid. It's in some sort of place that guy knows about and
Right.
breaks in and steals.
like in this scene.
Why wouldn't
in
like
this
the
scene.
doctor have that in a safe and a secret and be like, yeah, I
Why
killed
wouldn't
it,
the
it's
government
gone.
be like,
Yeah.
we're taking this and
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah,
buried
there's-
under the earth?
there's
You would
many
lie. You say we
layers of
destroyed
failure here.
it and it's gone.
You would never explain to the public like, oh, it was a bird ghost man.
And I trapped him in this tiny little yellow pyramid.
And if anyone were to steal it and let him out,
it'd be pretty bad.
This movie's fucking insane.
it's so good.
So he steals a goddamn pyramid and lets the ghost out, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
He goes into the same like the van that the
Winnebago.
they
and-
caught him, and then he starts like
yeah.
he does like that extended hacker sequence where he's like wiping
Neil
his
Breen's it up,
his
yeah,
fucking
Neil
head.
brings that.
And then he lets the ghost out.
and now the ghost is free. And
I love that because the whole time we were watching, I was like in disbelief. I was like, this has to be.
This is yeah.
Because like I thought he was gonna be like for the next movie.
Yeah,
I
I thought
like,
they were-
He'd be like, no,
He'd take
and then
the
it would
pyramid, like,
you know,
ha, ha, ha,
end.
and then, like, that would be the
He's
end
like,
of the
oh
movie.
wait. And as he starts hacking, I'm like, oh, this is not.
And then
over.
we checked.
No,
There's 40 more
yeah,
minutes
you guys,
into the
you
movie.
guys were in disbelief, and I was like, "No, there's got to be like an hour more to this than it was. It was 40 minutes."
Unbelievable.
So-
like as if everything we just watched wasn't enough. Like that's enough for most
Dude,
movies.
it turns into like 13th, whatever, like
Pacific Rim.
Oh, yeah, that's all the
It turns nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I really loved about the Prime Minister's speech when he's talking about Chidi? He's like, as Kali was incarnated as a robot, so is this. And you're like, where is that written? Where did that happen in this universe? Did somebody make a god robot?
maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever. Anyway, so the thing's out, and then
So now we get everybody's buying new cell phones.
Yes.
sequence.
The cell phones are back.
the what's his name? The professor is like, I've had a good day. I'm going to bed.
Time for sleep. Everything's super cool.
And then, of course, he's sleeping in like a void of darkness.
Yeah, I was like, why
Yeah,
is he
like,
sleeping?
do you not realize something's wrong?
when your
he's like-
room is just black.
And then he's like, and it's the entire room turns into the face of the demon guy.
I love
What
it.
is
The
his
visual
name?
here is so
Rajinikanth?
awesome.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. I can look it up. The visual here, though, I loved it.
The
'cause
phones sort of make him three-dimensional.
Well, yeah, the phones are like his face appears on the ceiling, and then it like becomes 3-dimensional down at him.
It's very
really
like
cool.
Lawn
it
Mower
looks
Man-esque,
awesome.
yeah.
It looks so good.
And then he's like, "Can I come in?" And then cut to black.
Yes.
We don't know what happened to the doctor.
Now it shows. No, it cuts to the
that's
doctor
right.
walking down the street with
He's-
the same sign and a
Save the
bullhorn, like
birds.
he had in his like flashbacks, telling people to trash their cell phones.
He's like,
Except now that he's a super bird ghost demon, he is just like some guy like walks by and he's like, yeah, whatever, dude, and he just throws
Bam!
him into a bus, and then some woman who had no idea what was going on, like walking down the street, just like blah, 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 flings her with like mind powers through a fucking window of a store. He just starts hucking people
Dude,
around
I
downtown.
mean, let's not glaze over how he looks.
"Oh, he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's beat. Yeah, he looks rough."
He turns into like a Power Rangers demon.
Well, not yet.
No, yeah, I
he's
guess he
still-
hasn't yet.
He's still
right.
just the doctor.
And
still
like,
just
there's
a
that one
doctor.
part when like he takes
Yeah.
two people in his arms and just like breaks both their necks
and flings
and just
them.
flings them away. And
It's brutal, man, and everybody starts freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
and he and then Chidi and
Vanilla show up.
they're like, we gotta activate the positive energy beam or whatever the hell.
Right.
Oh wait, we missed the scene at some point, or did it? I don't know.
What? I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
mini where he has the action figure of himself.
No,
and
it
he's
hasn't
like,
happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you're right. Jesus Christ.
So he
It's
This movie
amazing
is
how
so
much is
long.
left. It's
my God, yeah, you're right.
This is it's like 3 movies
I
in
feel
one.
like we're on to another movie now.
Yeah.
You could have started the first movie could have just been about an ornithologist, and it ends with him turning into a ghost.
Yeah.
Cuts to black,
What?
and then you wait for the second.
what a
movie.
trilogy, man!
Yeah, it's like you could have made 3 movies out of this.
It's
No,
the M Night
this is a single
Shyamalan
story.
for the first movie is the cheaty Unbreakable. Then we get the unknown with Split, and then we finally get the ultimate clash of enemies.
Man,
God damn, where are we?
I don't even
Okay,
know
so
what happens.
Cheaty tries to
next,
they find
actually.
out that the ghost is in the professor, and every time they try and pull the ghost out, it almost kills the professor.
Right.
Yeah, they turn the machine on and it almost kills him. He's like,
So they
"Don't
learn
do it."
that unlike before, I don't know why it's different, but now it's like his ghost is straight up just in the.
he's in a
He's
body.
in a human body, which
Yeah.
can be murdered. They
You
can't
can kill-
murder the. They can't murder the scientist.
Yeah, if they kill him physically, the ghost will just
Will
go
die.
into something else.
Yeah, but the doctor
No, they
will
say,
die.
but they do say that the ghost will die.
no,
No, the
Oh, they
ghost
don't?
is basically just like you can't
Okay.
harm
It's
me
like,
while I'm in
yeah.
here.
Right.
So
So-
it's like if you kill him, I'll just go into something else. Like,
Right,
I'm a
right.
fucking ghost.
But you can't hurt
Full
this.
of birds. Ooh.
Then it
it's
basically
so weird. He's a bird ghost, man.
He's a bird cell phone ghost.
Oh
man.
my God.
It's a demon.
He still has
we get there.
control over
He
cell phones.
looks awesome as fuck from this point on.
Well,
yes.
He looks so cool. It's not even.
It's like it looks almost like something from Japan.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh,
look
yeah.
like it's like Japanese inspired.
his eyebrows are fucking sick.
yeah.
It's really
Like
cool
he should be
looking.
called Demon Man or
yeah,
something.
he looks
Like, it
unreal. He looks really cool. And then he kills Cheaty. He basically
He rips him apart.
He rips,
He rips him apart.
both of his arms, both of his legs, and then he
Kicks
stabs
his
him in the
head
chest
across the street.
and throws his head into the air.
right.
And he's like, fucking Cheaty's gone. And then he hovers in midair, and he turns into his final form thing.
Which is like, yeah, it's like
Oh
a
my God, it's amazing.
like end of days demon phone
he looks
guy.
like he looks
It's
like a way
sick.
cooler version of Goldar.
Once again, right. Imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger in this getup.
I
Oh my
know.
God.
God damn
What a
it!
missed opportunity.
Yeah,
wish.
he has. Yeah, he looks like Goldar, but if he was more defined and sharper and darker.
And,
Yeah,
and
he's
like,
like
more
dark
bird
gray
related
and
than
red.
cat bird, like cat bear man.
But
head.
Goldar's a good kind of
Yeah.
composite of
It's
what
sort
he
of
is.
like an Owlman demon costume.
Yeah.
Kind of.
How about
thing.
if Goldar and Night Owl had sex?
There you
Yes, that's
If
exactly
if
what
their
it is.
costumes had sex and gave birth, it's this costume.
It's this costume, and
Yeah.
it's incredible looking.
It's
He
incredible.
looks
looking.
fucking great.
Yeah.
And then he flies off. And
With real wings, which once again you're like,
Why- you
is
don't
are the
need-
wings doing anything, or is
I
he
don't
just
think
normally
so.
flying?
he kicks
Yeah.
he kicks Vanilla into a wall, and then she comes out and she finds that the professor, while he had like control of his mind, wrote the words 2.0 on a
Hood of a
titular
car
moment.
On the hood of a
in,
car.
like,
Titular
blood or
moment.
something.
and you're like, whoa, and then it's like her breaking into the same place she broke into before.
Right,
To
and she
steal-
looks through the files, and then she pulls out like a flash drive.
It's like a little
Some
it's
kind
like
of
like
red.
yeah, it looks like a
chip.
flash drive, but it's got like a red chip in the middle
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And
It's the firmware upgrade.
yes.
So she puts him back together,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
gives him the firmware upgrade, which
Makes his give him some cool like lightning bolt sideburns.
he looks so awesome.
He
He
man.
looks
is-
like a Power Ranger.
He's got like a little red
I
streak
was
in
gonna
his
say,
hair, like
he looks like he
Rufio.
should be on the show like The Flash. He looks
Yes, he looks
Yeah,
like a
yeah, he
it's like
does.
a
Flash
TV
costume.
superhero costume.
And he is he's like
way more animated.
he's way cockier,
Well,
and so this is the more evil.
This is like him having fun moment.
I don't think it's
version.
the evil one.
well, I do too, because like when he sees Vanilla,
He's cocky
like
and funny now.
he's like unzipping the back of her shirt. He's like, "Ton of," and she's like, "You're not number one anymore." Like she has to use his own cockiness against him,
Yeah.
to make him want to go fight the thing, because he's like,
How about this? He's like the Beetlejuice version of the first one.
Okay.
yes.
He just
okay,
turns
okay.
into like
That's
he
perfect.
enjoys being cheaty now.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's like totally into it.
Yeah, he's not
He's
like
chewing the scenery, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hot shit cheaty.
Dot.
yeah, it's all
Dot.
yeah.
Dot.
God damn.
Yeah.
And
so-
then God, what? Then he's like, okay, what we got to do is, I got a plan, and then they start manufacturing all the cheaties.
Well, yeah,
With the upgrade.
the
Yeah.
army ones. Yeah, he starts
So-
turning them all to look like him.
Yes.
with the 2.0 upgrade.
Yes.
And this is when she's like, "What are you playing with?" And he's got a tiny little version of himself.
A little action figure.
And he's like, "It's a mini me."
It's like right from here, the movie's already completely, utterly, unspeakably insane. And like right from here, everything that happens, it's like insane on a level you're like,
I can't. Well, what do we?
it's like it might as well just be like static. On
How
the
do you
screen.
process
It's so insane.
So the little,
It's
the
so
little
nuts.
the little action figure turns into a cell phone.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, "Ha-ha!"
Hey, look at that."
And,
what?
And you're like, okay,
And I think it's
cell
the
phones
only-
are evil.
This is the
Stop
only
doing
time
that.
you see his eyes. He's got his thing flipped
Oh,
up,
yeah,
and he's got yellow eyes. He's like, and then he flips him back down.
Right. Right.
So now we get nobody knows the ghost. You know what? I don't know why the fuck anybody would go to a stadium for a fucking soccer game if they know that there's a demon.
Ghost.
Well, assumedly they
man.
heard that the announcement that it was dead.
That's true. They all have
No,
phones
but
by
it
this point.
attacked the town.
That's true. It did, and then it flew
It's
off.
like if you went to a baseball game like a week after
Yeah.
9/11.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just like
yeah.
yeah.
So
I'm not doing that.
there's like a soccer game going on, and
The
the Birdman ghost shows up.
Still as the Doctor, but like he's
Well, no, he looks.
he's got
awesome.
physical form. He
Yeah,
but he
he's-
looks like the Birdman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he is the Doctor.
Right.
and he shows up, and people are like taking selfies, and he's just like rolling his eyes as he walks down the steps.
Have you learned nothing?
Yeah, and then
right.
he like takes all their cell phones out of their hands, uses them to block all the exits to leave.
Well, no,
But
he
at
talks
first
to him
he
first.
threat-
well,
he talks
well,
to
that
him
happens at this concurrently.
He says basically like you're all going to die right now.
He's
Yeah,
like,
he's
I'm gonna take
and
the.
all their cell phones are floating like right in
He's
front
like,
of
I'm gonna
their face.
take
Oh,
the
that's
radiation
true.
from your phones and use it against you. Starting with an
Oh, and he-
example.
and he,
And he
picks
points to
guy,
the dude who's responsible for letting him loose.
It's
Yeah,
the
the
evil
ad-
scientist.
and he's in a stadium full of people, and the guy's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and he goes, "Why don't you pick somebody
I
else?"
love that. That's my
And he
favorite
goes-
line in the movie. He's like,
"Why
why don't you just pick somebody else?
And he's like, "Why would I?" And he goes, "Cause, well, I mean, to be honest, I was the one who set you free, so like, you should probably let me go."
You
And he
kinda
goes,
owe
Give me
me.
a solid here,
"He's
man.
like, yeah, but you're still a subscriber. I don't
You're a
give
piece of
shit."
shit. And
I
he
love
knocks
that
him-
he calls everyone subscribers.
and he knocks him into the middle of the
The stadium.
and then he like deep fries him with a lightning bolt
It's awesome.
of radiation.
Which also is like,
What?
what is he doing
Yeah,
now?
he's summoning cell phone radiation.
Cell phone radiation? Is that a thing? Okay.
Well, he got cell phone powers because
I
he's
told
in
you
the
because he hanged
tower.
himself
Yeah.
in a tower.
That's right.
So he's controlling.
It's inarguable that he could do it.
Well, the whole time he keeps complaining.
It's like, obviously.
He keeps in his flashback. He was complaining that they were using higher frequencies
Yes.
than they were supposed
That's
to.
right.
That he was
So I
telling
guess
the
he's,
guys like
channeling their higher.
because remember he said he
frequencies.
compared in the flashback he was like America only uses 3 networks and then we're
we
using
have,
like
Japan
10.
uses 5.
5. We're using over 10.
Yeah, we don't need that many networks.
And
This
also,
is-
not only do we have so many networks, all your networks are running at a way higher frequency that's killing the birds.
yeah,
right.
you're really trying to.
So he's in a place where the frequency and
Is like
amount
It's just
so
massive.
high he can just
he
tap
can
into it
tap into it and create lightning bolts.
to melt people.
And then he's like, and
Put
now,
that guy in the ass instantly.
And then
Yeah,
he's
he like Blade vampired out. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
he just like turns. Yeah, it's great.
and he's like, now I'm gonna kill all you. He's like, and then he like cell phones fly in front of the exits, and they say no exit on
No
them
exit.
in English.
Yeah.
And he's like, Hiroshima killed 30,000 people in 6 seconds. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna-
double that. Woo!
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna do 80 new record.
And then Chidi shows up,
Right.
Chidi shows up outside.
and he's walking down the.
Oh, no,
the
no, no,
steps.
no.
He's just there. He walks down the steps, and he's like, subscribers.
Oh yeah, he bursts through one of the no exits.
Yeah.
Yeah. He bursts through. He
He
bursts
goes,
through
"Dear
the cell
subscribers, but you know the weird dialogue they have here is strange.
It's
Where they
very
keep
strange.
talking to everybody like it's an ad.
But then he challenges.
Right.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
the bad guys doing
Yeah,
it,
right,
where it's like
right.
you should hate that shit.
phones. You should be against it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be emulating it.
Right. Right.
And then they start fighting. And
They fight. It's
Well,
pretty
at first they
cool.
just fight
like
as,
normal.
as their 2 normal bodies.
Yeah, just beating each other up and
because it goes off the rails twice.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Holy
There's
shit!
there's
it totally
two
does.
segments of going off.
There's something I can't believe I'm gonna get to describe.
It's
that
hard.
happens later.
So then the
I love this.
like I was losing my mind. I I didn't think it would. I was like, this is enough. You know what I mean? Like,
No, it keeps going.
Oh, no,
Stop.
I forgot. I just
going.
remembered. Here's how it starts. He's in the middle, and then he's like, and then like the phone starts swarming out of the thing, and he's like, he summons guns from everybody in the.
Oh, he makes
Yeah,
the circle.
He makes a circle of guns,
Yeah,
which
he
is kind of a throwback to
When
the
he
first
did- yeah,
movie.
First
Yeah,
movie. He
And
makes
he-
an orb of, or like a halo of guns
around him,
And
and
he
it
shoots
just starts
them all.
shooting them all, and he's like hitting all the cell phones, like he's taking them out. A lot
But then
of
they
them,
they definitely show people running away because bullets
Oh,
are missing phones.
Chidi does not give a fuck about the civilians
Yeah.
at the stadium.
It's
No,
shocking
not
that
this version.
anyone
They're just
lives
dead
through
too.
this.
2.0.
Yeah.
This is 2.0.
There's a moment coming up.
He gets the job done without any
Everyone
questions.
in like 3 square miles should be dead because of what Chidi does.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, honestly.
Anyway, fucking.
It's not
He
very good
kills
with
all the
current
phones.
events.
He blows them
Yeah.
all up, and he's like, "Okay, cool." And the thing summons the giant bird. The giant bird's back.
Yes.
Which
And so
assumedly
his-
he regrouped cell phones to
At some
make it
point,
again,
yeah.
I guess.
I guess he like was waiting to make his big entrance and didn't steal everybody's cell
Cell phone
phones
just
yet.
yet.
I guess.
So the bird's like perched on the top, and then Chidi's like, "Aha!"
Oh, I got you. And he makes.
The ball,
He
right?
makes a
Well,
ball.
they all show up.
The bird's sweeping down to grab him, and the ball rolls by and grabs him.
That's right.
Right.
And he's like, "It's a ball of Cheeties, just a
A
massive,
giant ball of cheese.
about the size of the bird."
Right. Doesn't it start rolling into the stands?
But they all pull out
Yeah.
guns.
And it starts flattening like
Dude, yeah, they all pull out guns and start firing
In
all
every-
the guns in
in
every
every
direction.
possible
conceivable
direction.
And it's just rolling around the stadium that has 80,000 people
people
that
that
are
are-
stuck in it.
No, it's mowing down like the seats.
Yes, it eats up the seats. Dude, it would shoot everyone.
It
would be
shot
dead.
every direction, and it never
All the
stopped.
time.
Yeah, it was bonkers.
It was like a 5-minute sequence of just a ball shooting in every direction as it rolled.
like
doing,
I remember
doing
thinking-
absolutely nothing to the giant cell phone bird,
No.
but probably killing like tens of thousands of people. Just rolling around his death ball.
Like at that point, I was like,
Unbelievable.
let him melt these people. They probably have less of a death.
Yeah.
It would just be like that, you know.
you're
It's-
like, yeah, you're shooting, people,
them
rolling
and then
crushing
flattening them with this weird ball. It's
of
awful.
people. It's
Dude,
disgusting.
I'd rather be like fried instantly
Yeah,
than like
then-
crushed or
Then
shot.
shot and bleed out while watching a bird demon fight a robot ball.
Yeah.
God in heaven. I mean, at that point, you know it's over.
It's over.
Whatever is life
So,
Yeah, like
anymore.
you're nothing. You're an ant again. Welcome to the bottom.
Is this when we
Right.
get kaiju?
No. Well, the bird then hits the ball into it makes like a soccer joke, and the ball.
Oh! It hits it through the net, and then the bird comes to swoop at the ball, and the ball opens
and turns into a
big
prison.
net and
A
like
net,
grabs it
and then
and
the
like
net turns
traps
into
it
a
down
like a bird
like a cage.
And the bird cage is lined with Cheeties shooting into the bird cage.
And then
Well,
the
it's
bird,
made of cheese.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
lined
Well,
with.
no, I
it's
mean, like-
made
like-
of.
Well, the frame
Inside-
of it was
Cheese.
Yeah.
Cheeties with guns.
And yeah, right. It's
And they're all shooting in
God.
at the bird, and then the bird turns into cell phones again.
melts through the thing, and that's when it starts reforming
into a giant the evil guy's
The evil
body.
Birdman, yeah.
Evil Birdman, but he's like
But a huge
size of Godzilla.
100-foot tall.
And then they.
Easy.
I was like, "Is a kaiju fight now? Are you
And
kidding?"
then Cheetie turns into a bunch of magnets. They actually turn into a
well,
cartoon-shaped magnet.
all 500 of them turn into a cartoon.
This movie's
shape. I know.
amazing. God, it's
And they
so
start
good.
sucking up cars out of the parking lot, everybody's clothes and watches and money, and they turn into a giant cheaty made out of fucking
Trash.
cars.
And there's a
metal
man.
trash.
There's a
Metal
man
trash.
in Cheetie's, like in the car.
Oh, yeah, in the car,
Cheetie's
he like
knee
dives
falls
out of it.
and
He dies.
I
He's dead.
swear he dies.
It-
That man
he
is
has
dead.
to be dead.
Yeah.
Also, they thoughtfully gave him car abs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's six cars at his abs.
as his abs, and they start fighting. And
So then they fight his giant
They have a
things.
Pacific Rim fucking fight.
more
You got a
innocent
guy made
people
of
are
cell
getting killed.
phones,
fighting
a
a
demon,
guy made of.
cell phone demon powered guy that's the size of Godzilla versus a guy made of robots and trash. It's
And
It's awesome.
like
I mean,
at this point, nothing else needs to happen. Like movie,
We
you
have
did
done it.
You've given me enough. Stop.
oh my god.
Stop.
but more happens.
Well then, Okay.
More happens.
More happened.
He beats the shit out of Chidi right here.
Yeah,
like,
he
Chidi,
does.
He starts.
Well, he starts punching him, and the
because-
cars start exploding.
Yeah,
on him.
because he's
Yeah.
made out of trucks and cars and stuff. They start blowing up. There's
It's
not a
terrible.
good
There had
look.
to be more people in those cars.
Oh,
There
100%.
had to be.
And then they all fall out. All the Chidis fall out, and they are like, they're all got the low battery.
demagnetize.
They've all got low battery.
Yeah,
Right,
and they all
right,
have
yeah.
low battery.
And then the dude,
So he turns back into a tiny demon man.
and he's like, and then he breaks the bird into like 20 little birds.
Yes.
They're still like,
and they
like
start
human
just
size.
destroying all the cheaties.
They're tearing the Chidis apart.
and he's up at the main cheatie, like talking shit, and he's about to kill him when.
And then you see activate 3.0.
Three.
Yes.
What?
We're like,
and you're like, hold on, what's
Is
happening
this the
right
sequel
now?
happening right now?
Then,
Why is this movie called 2.0 if this is the thing that's been holding back?
This is when a tiny a dove
flies down.
flies down in front of the guy's face with a tiny cheatie on it.
Oh my god!
And it goes,
And he goes, hey, what's up? I'm 3.0.
It talks like
and
the
if
brownies.
you kill him right now,
Or
I'm
like
gonna
Army of
break.
Darkness.
Yeah.
He threatens to snap the dove's neck in front of him.
Like
Yeah, it's so-
no. Just the one. He's like, I'll kill this bird right in front of you, and that's the last thing you want, isn't it? And he's like, well, yeah. But he looks confused, and he's like, yes, I don't want that, but I'm
But-
also an awesomely powerful
Bird
fuckhead, and I'll
demon,
kill
man.
you. And he goes, and he's like, can't birds see in all directions? Look around you. That's when there's an army of tiny cheaties riding doves.
and they
all have their necks like they're about to break them. It is the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. That is so crazy. Like it's an army of tiny men
It's
about to
also
break
like-
a bunch of birds.
It's
necks.
also like he's the
so
good
that
guy,
a cell
right?
phone bird ghost doesn't murder the robot that thinks it's Jesus. Like this movie's insane. Love it.
Oh my god. Well,
Don't make us break all these birds' necks. We'll do it.
It's so good. He's the good guy, and he's like ready to break these cute doves in half.
and then,
insane.
then
So
they
good.
plug Chidi back in to get power.
Oh yeah, they chug him while he's charging, and then a bunch of the small cheaties are like glomming themselves onto the.
They
cell
turn into
phones.
cell phones, and then they connect to
and
the
they
walls
connect
of
to
cell
the walls
phones.
of cell phones.
Oh.
including the cell phones that make up the bad guy Birdman's wings.
So the guy who's not cell phones turns into cell phones. That's the best part.
yeah.
Like think about that.
I gotta
for a
make
second.
tiny versions of myself.
How do we
turn into
counteract
cell
it?
phones.
We turn into cell phones. Like what the?
Well, when
fuck?
if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I mean?
We should point out that when Chidi first shows up, he shoots at the Birdman, and then the Birdman turns back into the professor, and it's like, you wouldn't shoot me,
Oh,
would you?
yeah.
And he's like, I almost made a huge
Right.
mistake. Lies. And then he just shoots at him again. He doesn't really care
He
about the
doesn't care.
professor's
But
life.
the professor's body is inside of him somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just
so yeah.
Like he's floating in the middle of him or something. right?
Once he gets fully charged up, the little cheaties start exploding all over the place. The demon starts flying at him. His wings blow up, and then he shoots him like once in the shoulder.
Well, the Vanilla jumps in front of him to block
Well,
the
yeah,
other
she
shot.
blocks
the other
three
shot,
or
right.
four of them. Only one of them hits in the shoulder, and that's when the spirit leaves the body.
Yeah.
And what the fuck happens? How do they get rid of
They
it?
catch the spirit, and then he
into the containment unit thing.
No. I'm sorry. Vanilla catches the
Oh,
professor.
no.
And
And
then-
the professor, the spirit flies back up into the sky and reforms the giant bird because they have to chase something to the towers.
That's right.
They do.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
Get all the
No,
way.
no, 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 no. He chases the little. He's not the birds.
Yes, it's the little guy on one of the birds flies away.
Yeah, and the
And
guy's
he-
chasing him to
he's-
save the birds from
To
the
save
little robots.
birds from the little robot.
They take him.
God. Yeah, because the cell phone things just blow. The cell phone little guys blow up to let the people out,
Yes, but then
and that's what happens.
But there's
the
still
people are free now.
the
Yeah,
original
people
ones
can
who are
get
still
out.
on the doves are still on the doves.
The ones who
And they're
didn't
flying
die.
away, and the
The ghost chases him.
the demon ghost is chasing them, and then Chidi 2.0
Runs
like,
ahead.
blasts past them on the road to get ahead, so that he can reprogram the satellite towers to be strong,
And there's a man
to
in
be
the-
more
There's
positive.
a man in the satellite towers.
Oh yeah, and he's like, "Hey, you can't be
what are
here."
you
And he goes,
doing?
"Bow," and he just elbow drops through the face.
That guy's probably dead. He's a robot.
Hyper strong robot.
She's been fighting.
It's so good. He doesn't give a fuck about people at all.
No, he knocks that guy out.
He just wants to complete his mission. That's it.
And he activates like the satellites.
The birds fly him over it, and he blasts them.
The 3 satellites converge right where the ghost is. The ghost is stuck.
Right.
They crank the power up to 1,000,000, and it fucking evaporates that ghost. It blows him to pieces.
Yeah.
And it also blows up the satellites.
All 3 satellites get too much positive energy.
Which is like weren't they like the government trying to like send a good signal to the
That's why I'm
universe?
hoping aliens are like, what was this massive burst of good?
Right.
But then he
dead.
dies, and then Chidi walks out, and then it goes to the doctor in the hospital.
Right.
And they're like, is the ghost gone? And he's like, oh, it's
totally destroyed.
It's totally destroyed and dead.
Hilarious, because how
would
fuck
he
do
know?
you know?
Yeah.
You don't even know what's happening.
And he's talking to the prime minister. The prime minister comes in and he's like, what's the deal? He's like, ghost is destroyed, dead and gone. And when you think about it, that ghost was. I mean, I kept thinking there'd be a redemption arc for this ghost. Because
No.
The guy goes insane and he stays evil.
They
and dies.
murdered a man who was just trying to
He's
save
like Mr.
birds.
Freeze of birds.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there was no like moment where they were like, "Don't."
That's probably why they wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. At least Mr. Freeze loved his wife.
Yeah,
and
he won't even call his girlfriend. I know. Or he didn't have one.
He didn't have. I'm just saying, like, there's no redemption for this character.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It wasn't like they brought his granddaughter back and she was like, "What are you doing, grandfather?
they make
I
him
love you."
super
You're not like this?
sympathetic. And then they're
And
just
then
like,
they
this
just-
evil man must die.
Yeah, he is a demon that should be sent back to hell because fuck him. There's no redemption.
I mean, it's unbelievable that a man who's just basically an ornithologist and 5,000 bird spirits is pure evil. It's like,
That's an ornithologist is the villain.
yeah, I mean, what an odd choice.
What an odd thing.
You just stumble across recipes sometimes, and that's it.
That's
That's
it.
how you
It's
make
beautiful.
a really powerful demon.
And then he's like, okay, what you got to do is start cutting down on these cell phone towers. We should live with all creatures as if they're equal. And then, at least put some water out for the birds.
you put
That's
some
like
water
the
out
only
for
thing
them,
he
pass
says
some
to
laws,
do.
maybe a few less towers.
So, like,
I think
guess
we can make it go down.
The lesson is they learned a little bit, at
Yeah.
least.
Otherwise, I'll have an army of tiny men threaten to kill your family in front
Right.
of you.
Just know that I can fucking do anything I want.
I know.
now.
You should just be doing that.
You
all
let
the
me
time
re-release my Pandora, and I can control it.
Then he's like, wait a minute. We have to get that red chip out of Chidi or we're going to have some trouble. And she's like, it's fine,
now.
doctor.
Already did it.
I made an auto eject, so we're cool. And he's like, okay, cool.
It happens off screen.
Yeah, we don't even see it because then Chidi walks up and he's the
normal.
old Chidi. He's the normal one.
No lightning bolt
Right.
sideburns.
No.
And he's like, I got to go to help with the setting up the other Chidis in the army. And he's like, Vanilla, go with him.
And they
she's
both
like,
look at each other like all like,
Ooh.
we're in love.
And then
As robots.
Was she having all those we never mentioned it.
the
but-
wind.
Whenever she
wind,
was like
yeah.
romanticizing, like the wind would blow in
Or
her
her
face,
hair,
her
yeah.
hair, and this music would play.
And it happened to
Or
Chidi once.
Yeah, she would play
Yeah.
music out of her head, I guess,
Yeah, because they
in
did.
inappropriate
Like,
times.
You think it's coming? It's just like part of like the soundtrack, but then like Chidi's
They're
like, stop it.
Yeah, right. It's all loud and shit.
Oh, also there was that incredible last song that was just basically explaining what was happening as it was happening. It's
Oh
like,
my God,
You
you're
will
right.
kill the Birdman.
Oh
was like,
yeah,
yeah,
I am
you're
the
right.
son of. Was it? I am Isaac Asimov's
son.
grandson. Like you're like,
right,
what
it was
is
the
going
one.
on?
That's so good.
3.0. The song was like 3.0. It was awesome.
Oh my God, it was awesome.
Pretty cool.
And then
Well, then the movie ends right there, right?
yeah, well then no, the movie doesn't really actually end. We get into that weird side story like a music video ending, and then the movie ends.
Oh yeah, the music video.
Yeah.
But
There's a music
it was not
video.
clear that the
Who
movie had
cares?
ended to us.
No,
We were-
but it is a music video with the two leads.
yeah,
Well, not. I guess she's a lead, right? She's a
yeah,
lead.
Vanilla's a lead.
The
Yeah,
two
I
leads.
guess.
She's
She's
a
in the
pop
whole
star,
movie.
I guess.
I guess me.
I
I
don't
don't know. I probably not because I
God,
thought
it's so confusing.
I said that because I was like, oh, maybe it's like Taylor Swift doing a music video for
Right,
a movie
right.
she's in or something. But the guy sang all the lyrics.
yeah.
the
yeah,
guy
she
playing
was just there.
I don't know.
2.0 and everything or whatever or Cheaty. Like,
Cheaty.
It's fucking weird.
But
man.
it's a really long.
I like it when you said you were like maybe this is how robots fuck. I don't know.
This is what they see.
This is how. Yeah, this is how they look. Yeah, it goes on the entire credits.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
it's
and
a
then we get
really
and then
insane Bollywood music video.
that's the end.
Yeah,
And now we're just recovering.
I mean it's like it's jam packed.
I've
I mean,
seriously,
that's a lot.
It's a
never,
lot of movie.
It never stops, except when
weird
it's
for
showing
me,
you something
like,
40 times.
I saw people on IMDb on the user comments saying it was boring.
It's definitely not boring.
I was like, what is?
What do you want out
I
of
don't,
a movie?
I don't know.
I mean, what could this
I don't
possibly
know.
give you the more?
You gotta see a guy exploded by cell phones multiple times.
Yeah.
A guy crushed by cell phones. A cell phone bird.
A cell
Fucking-
phone street. A cell,
cell
phone,
phone street.
a cell phone forest. It's like
What more do you
bird
want?
I mean, you got to
cell
see a
phone,
cell phone trash
Power Rangers
kaiju
villain.
fight.
Yeah, the kaiju
You got to
fight.
see
All
mini-
the birds, the
mini-
tiny robots.
Tiny robots, flying birds.
a ball of guns that essentially should have killed everyone in a tri-county
A
area.
beautiful side story about a man's life completely going down the drain and the whole world hating him
Because
until
he loved birds
kills
so
himself.
much.
Dude.
Like that alone, that segment is like
I love you. Were like, it
incredible.
deserves an Oscar.
And-
It does.
you know-
it's amazing.
You know, the something we didn't mention is how much like unnecessary little side-offs there are of CGI. Like there's one part where she goes to unlock a door.
Oh yeah, we see
Oh,
her
and you
see the
robot
inside of the
lockpick
door.
finger.
The finger comes in, it rotates all the tumblers, and then it goes back. It was like,
Why do
totally
we need
I
that?
kind of
unnecessary.
love that the gavel shot where the
That was
gavel
great.
just kind of smashed
Well,
into
that wasn't
the
CG.
screen.
That was just a shot. From
yeah,
my
yeah,
head.
yeah.
That was
I
a
was
great
just thinking
shot.
of like all the weird like shots that seemed out of place.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, this movie was awesome.
Oh, it's great.
I cannot
Yeah,
recommend this
yeah,
movie
it's
enough.
on-
If you like movies,
It's on
I mean,
Amazon.
any
it's
right?
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Why? It's fucking great. We didn't watch it because it was bad or anything.
no, this is
No, it's
an
awesome. It does
absolutely
not make sense. It is
triumph of
silly.
cinematography.
It does look like a dad running around.
That is maybe my
But I mean,
favorite part.
But
he's been in a ton of movies. He's famous. This
Dick,
is.
I don't care
He's
about
superstar,
that.
man.
I know.
I don't care about that, Bob.
I'm just saying. There's a precedent. here.
Fame.
So there's a lot of people who've been in a lot of things that are terrible.
His dadness is well documented and loved.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it was
Watch
great.
2.0. It's a terrible title.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you will not leave
But
disappointed.
you had to search robot to see it.
I searched
right?
Robot,
2.0.
and it gave me the selection for Robot 2.0, and I chose that. But it's 2.0 on IMDb. It's called 2.0.
But there were 3 options for 2.0. You picked one that was like Tahamani or something like that. I don't
I
picked
remember.
think that was a
third
language
one.
thing.
Okay,
I
yeah.
picked the third one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's confusing.
There was one that was
just like the
blue.
movie. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why we picked a version that has like a mixed language thing.
Oh,
It's
maybe.
almost like,
maybe.
Maybe. I
That's
don't know.
entirely possible.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I mean,
It's-
either way,
yeah, it
this
doesn't
thing
matter.
shoots through conversations like they are knife through
It's
butter.
like cannon.
It's-
It's like coming out of a cannon. We're
Yeah.
talking. It's just. It's like micro
when he
Okay.
talks,
All right.
when he talks to his girlfriend on the phone, there is so much rapid fire dialogue. You almost cannot keep up with what's
No.
happening.
No, it's so fast.
Yeah.
It's
Your
so
laptop.
fast.
Why is it bad? Be a laptop. I'm a laptop. It's like it's so.
Oh no!
It's just
Then the crow comes. You're like,
hyper rapid fire.
ah.
It's like it makes that scene in The Room where he walks in to order buy the flowers look slow.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
like that is a plotting scene in
No,
comparison
like,
to this.
If I wanted to give like an old age home a heart attack, I'd try to do
I can't keep
You know,
up.
what's happening?
They just start keeling
Why
over.
is that a bird? What's happening? I'm dying.
Yeah, I kind of love this movie. People should watch it.
Yeah,
I think people should watch
this is
it.
great.
Yeah, it's great.
Dot.
All right, done. Thank you, Huey, for suggesting a Bollywood movie and then
Yeah,
us
yeah,
picking
yeah.
a different one.
Oh man. Side note, real quick, to whoever left that comment on our last thing about the Elm Enchanted Forest, you're an idiot.
Oh, yes. I doubt they're gonna ever listen to the
I
show.
don't care.
again.
Go to hell.
On my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thundergrunt. I post all the episodes, and on Huey's episode for the Elm Enchanted Forest, somebody told us off about how it's a lovely movie that people have enjoyed
For
for
children's movies, stop being so literal. We're not literal. Listen to us.
The Elm Enchanted Forest is fucking weird.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
weird
it
movie.
does not make sense.
There are kids' movies that make total sense.
If you
and that is
enjoy it,
not
it's
one of
fine.
them.
It's not, you know.
So go to hell,
saying
lady.
You can't enjoy it.
Dot.
I don't even feel like we were that negative.
Don't.
We weren't that negative.
No, we
about
weren't.
Elm
We were just.
Enchanted,
It was
so-
weird, and Matt was
I
like
mean, that-
hallucinating.
Yeah.
It's just really weird.
Dude.
All right, I got the hiccups. Bye.
You've just listened to Bonus Disc, available only on Thunder Grunt. Questions, complaints, and movie suggestions can be posted to facebook.com/bonusdisc. Opinions and criticisms of the hosts of Bonus Disc are 100% valid, even though they took the time to watch the movies you were too ignorant to appreciate.